Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 56 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth gaming discussion podcast. I'm your host as always, Brad Ellison. Joining me this week, I got both of the Dukes. I love these episodes.
Hell yeah.
If you don't know who the Dukes are, you're missing out. First though, we're going to start with Lord Cognito. Cog, how are you, my friend? He's got a new camera.
Yes.
And a good shirt on.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta speak it into existence. This is my baby right here. I always love me some Titanfall, and I've been salty at Apex Legends for a long time. Damn it, Apex, stop being popular. Let my baby through. But no, I'm doing good. Like me and you were talking before, Brad, in terms of just like a crazy week. And it's a good busy. It's a good busy. Just so much going on. So I'm just trying to keep ahead of things, try to stay on top before things overwhelm you. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Be back on Summerside. It's been a little bit. We got the homies, you know what I'm saying? With us. So I'm ready.
Yeah, man. And of course, the other Duke, Mr. Matty plays. Matty, with also a great shirt on.
Indeed.
It looks like he got fresh out of the shower, maybe, too.
You are correct. Yeah, so we got hit with a ton of snow. Was spending my whole morning shoveling light, fluffy snow, so that's good. I don't know if other Northeasterners can relate to this, but there is something like, it was really coming down last night, so I also shoveled last night. But when you step outside and it's just the silence of snow and it's falling and you're just shoveling, there's something magical about it, man. I love it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I enjoy the laborious task of shoveling snow, but if anyone out there is listening to this, I want you to just write in the comments. Let me know if you feel the same. Like when you step out, it's at nighttime snow and you're shoveling. It just brings peace to your world. It's great.
Yeah.
So after that, had breakfast and showered, and here I am, clean and ready for some Summon Sign.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that's snow life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a Southern California boy, I can't relate to that at all. But the closest I can get is maybe raking leaves.
Okay.
It can be something
Does raking leaves bring you a sense of peace? Do you enjoy that?
Kind of. When you're outside and it's quiet, it's not a lot going on. It's not hot out or anything like that. Just kind of get in the zone. I don't know. Something zen-like about it, I guess.
Yeah.
But snow sounds much more magical, I'll say.
Yeah.
It sounds way better.
Because it just dampens all the sounds, so you just don't hear anything.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And I like what Matty said. When it's soft and it first coming down. Snow. Don't Northeasterners know you cannot wait the next day too long. You have to start on it. Otherwise, once that thing hardens, then you gotta have a problem.
Yeah. It's wet, and then it gets icy, and then pitch to lift.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to focus on pushing the snow. I haven't read into it much, but everyone kept telling me yesterday, like, don't lift the snow, like you'll risk like cardiac arrest. And I'm like, what? Like, but this is like apparently a new thing people are finding out, that if like the wave puts pressure on you while you're lifting, like people who are in shape are just like dropping from it.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much, but yeah, like I was trying to focus on my shove rather than my lift out there.
Yeah.
All my fellow snow shovelers out there, just want to pass that advice on.
Jeez.
You'll do more research than me. Let me know.
I never even thought about that. Yeah. I guess that could be something about that.
I don't know. There's some science behind it.
Yeah. Sounds scary, I guess, but
anything can kill you nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. Anything can kill you. Everything's ready to kill you at any time.
Yeah. Literally. Can't even shovel snow in peace, God damn it.
Hey everybody, please check us out on patreon.com/laststandmedia. If you'd like to support us, you can get early access to this show, Punching Up, my Nintendo podcast, Defining Duke, our Xbox podcast with these two lovely boys, Sacred Symbols, of course, you guys know Sacred Symbols, so please support us over there. We greatly appreciate it. If you want some merch as well, go to laststandmedia.store, get some shirts. I believe there's a Defining Duke shirt on there. There's a Summon Sign one. Stickers, of course, too. Do we still have the Smug Matty Xbox sticker?
I believe so.
That's the best sticker we have.
I'm surprised it's not a high seller. I'm very disappointed. Why don't people want my face like stamped to things? Like,
I need to buy that.
Story you get to tell there. Like, oh, this guy, this smug piece of shit. Like, let me tell you,
Matty, I'm not a person that does this, but I think that sticker is worthy of putting on my actual Xbox. I would put it on that.
Hey yo.
I would put it on.
PlayStation, like the people who can't stand Cog and I, just like slapping it on their PlayStation, like this piece of shit. Yeah,
hate these guys.
It's so good, man. It's so good. All right, we got a couple of warm-ups, or we got one warm-up right off the bat. This is from Jonathan Turner. Sup, Brad? Since we have the Health is Wealth boys on, can you talk about your journey, where you're at in it, what may you want to need to improve on? So I'll let you guys know. Yes, I am a Health is Wealth person, like the Dukes. I was sick. I was sick for like 2 weeks though, so I was out of the gym. So the last week I've been getting back in the gym, and it's been rough.
Yes,
it's always rough getting back.
That get back is right.
But I'm working my way back up to it. Got to stay consistent. The goal is to get back to 5 days a week going in the gym for like an hour, maybe like that. I'm not one of those people that likes to be there for 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, hell no.
I can't do that.
Hell no.
I just can't do that.
The dudes who live at the gym. Wait, Cog, you guy who just like lives at the gym, like you're talking with everybody, hitting all the machines.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'm ridiculous.
True social butterfly out there.
No, it's not that I'm a social butterfly. It's just that I'm trying to like maximize at like the most of what I'm doing there, and
grinding
like
your stats.
I'm over grinding. I'm grinding the dungeon. Like, you know how you're in the dungeon too long and you're like, all right, just go fight the boss already.
You're over
like,
leveling right now.
You're over leveling, bro. Like, stop. And it's really, because it's my happy place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
it
awesome.
is. Yeah. So awesome. I do, my workouts are too long. That's what it is. Because I do that and then the cardio, and then it's just like, it becomes a thing. I try to get in an hour, try to shut it down in an hour at least. But yeah,
hour and a half is always was always my sweet spot. That's where I felt good. Like, you got a ton of exercise in, but you're not there like forever.
Yeah.
Because when you include the drive there and back, in my case, it was 2 hours.
It's a whole production. Yeah, good point.
Oh, really? I'm pretty close to mine, so it's not a big deal.
Nice.
But I need to put cardio back in. I need to get back up to that. Just
that's like my priority.
I hate
so
cardio,
boring.
Bro.
It's my priority just because I feel like I could be jacked, but I could still be very unhealthy. You know, that's like always my mindset. To a detriment, by the way. Like, I've procrastinated lifting weights for like a year now. Just because I'm always like, well, when I get that time, I'll start lifting, and I just like end up going back into cardio and just like, well, if I'm going to do anything today, it's take care of my heart. You know, that's what I try to do. But
it makes sense.
This year's been a lot of emotional health as well for me to start off. Just like, I'm building the puzzle pieces. I've been reading this book, Outlive. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
It's an interesting book about medicine. It really is like the quintessential health is wealth book. It came like highly recommended by a friend of mine. The idea is that like he targets like what he calls like the 4 horsemen, like all the chronic deadly diseases like your Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, etc. And he talks about what he like defines as like medicine 2.0, which is like the stuff we're in right now. Like, when you get cancer, like the treatment you get like is to kind of prolong your life basically. But he evolved his way of thinking in a way that I'm only like 70 pages in, so I can't talk too authoritatively on it, but he's talking about like medicine 3.0 is what he calls it, and sort of the preventative measures we take now to stop that from ever happening. And so he kind of draws out a life curve that's like your quality of life. He calls it health span, where like you just live your best life longer before you drop off, basically. So it's an interesting book thus far, you know, just seeing what he's going to kind of lay out for recommendations on preventatives. And he talks about everything. Sleep. He says exercise is the number one thing. But I'll be keeping the Dukes updated on this book because it feels like one that they're going to want to hear a little bit about. So just want to put that out there for any other health is wealth brains listening to Summon Sign. Good book so far.
Absolutely. And it's good to talk about often because it helps motivate people. When you're talking about it often, it makes you want to do it more. Yeah. Like talking to you guys makes me want to go to the gym more. So that's good.
Bro, it lives rent free in my head when I don't do anything because I think of the show and I'm just like, I'm such a fraud.
Of a fraud. You're like, yo, if I don't go up there, it's a fraud.
You can't just sit here and talk. Like, this is what I would do if I were you, but I'm not going to do it, bro. Like, I don't know. It just feels wrong.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, man. I totally get it. But it is important, everyone out there, to stay active if you can. Of course, everyone's got different circumstances, but you do what you can because it does go a long way. You will feel better. We all three guarantee it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, other health as well thing I got to throw out there, your chair. So finally got Herman Miller, bro. Finally. I bit the bullet. Bro. I've gone through so many like Herman Miller lights sitting for like a decade now. Like I've ascended from the DX Racer to this moment here, and I will say, as someone who's been in a lot of ergonomic chairs and whatnot, like this thing's fucking legit. The way it just kind of like leans.
Oh yeah.
I was working on the game with my friend last night, and we were sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours straight, and I just didn't even like feel that hip pain, that lower back pain. Immediately, my mobility is like way better, and I'm like, okay, I needed a great chair. If anyone's ever interested, because I know Herman Millers are expensive, you can really cut the cost. Like I did, you can go to eBay. I was telling Colin this, that like they sell refurbished units there that people will buy like the Herman Miller parts and replace whatever's wrong with the chair, or they're typically from offices that have like shut down and they just order these Herman Millers in mass, and they're just like, we don't have anywhere to put these. Come buy it for like $600. Expensive price for a chair, but when you, as someone who's spent way more than that over time on a ton of different chairs, like Autonomous AI, there's that one chair we got gifted, Cog. I forgot.
Hayworth.
Yes, that was yeah. There's Hayworth. Like I said, DX Racer. Like I've been through so many fucking chairs. I'm just like, I just got to stop. I just need to go for it. And so time was right. And this is the health is wealth chair. I'll tell you what. Difference maker. I was a skeptic for sure, but every review you watch, you're like, no, there's nothing better. I'm like, I looked, return policy was good. I was like, all right, so far so good, bro. So far so good.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. I think as I've gotten older, I'm okay with spending a premium on stuff I know that's going to be very beneficial to me and that I'll use all the time. Like, you're going to sit in your chair for so many hours. It's going to get so much use.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why am I penny pinching on the thing that I do need versus the things that I don't need that I don't penny pinch on? Like, did I need to buy the collector's edition of Persona 3 Reload? Probably not. It's still sealed. You know, it's like, did I need to do that? I'm like, oh, I don't need a penny pinch there. Like, so yeah, it's very good point there, Brad. Pay that premium.
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny. Whenever I have people on from one of our other shows, often I get the memes and the jokes from their shows as well that come into the write-ins. I got to ask you two. Throat coat. What is going on with this? Man?
Yes, explain, Matty. Explain.
Oh, dude.
Tell us what it's all about.
Well, if anyone watched the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions playoff game, you might have heard a little bit about throat coat. I think Kurt Warner was providing some education. And that was just wonderful, bro. My mentions actually filled up a little bit with that.
It got to be a sponsorship bag at this point, bro.
It's like so funny.
The timing of that during the NFL plan after this whole throat coat run.
Anything, like get him a Halls.
Yep, get him a Hall.
Get him some rest. Oh, he's working hard. He's like, no, get him throat coat tea. I'm like, who the fuck?
I'm like, I'm never going to stop hearing the end of this. I was like, this is a viral moment. It's hilarious.
So, Brad, the story is that I think Cog was like getting sick. He said his throat was hurting or something along those lines. And I recommended to him a tea. There is a tea called the throat coat tea. And it literally coats your throat and it makes it where, like, you know, when you get like a sore throat, it's very like raw. It hurts to talk, hurts to swallow, all that stuff. So I told Cog, try the throat coat tea because it'll make you feel better, especially for guys like us who we use our voices a lot. Like throat coat will preserve that sort of stuff. And Cog threw his arms up. He wasn't having it. The audience wasn't having it. And we were just going on holiday break. And I said, while you are away, the winter sickness will take hold of you. And I said, someone will write in and tell me about it. And there will be a chain reaction. Now, week one, when we got back, no one did write in about it. I was very upset. And I said, hey, I'm going to keep up the pressure. Someone's going to bend the knee. All of a sudden, a flurry of write-ins are coming in. I'm getting tagged on Twitter. I'm getting tagged in our Discord servers. And they're like, hey, man, I'm not feeling well, and I bought it. And, like, this is actually legit. And so a lot of our write-ins are including throat coat tea. But it's definitely a sus name. What would you say? Slippery Elm is on the box?
Slippery Elm is one of the main ingredients, bro. Like, the marketing for this brand, it's hilarious. They're just telling your man, yo, bro, I got you in that throat coat. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds wild. It just sounds diabolical, right? So it's just a whole thing about it. But to Matty's credit, people are utilizing it, saying it's amazing, and then we just keep hearing about it more and more in pop culture right now. So it's the funniest movement going. So I got to give it to my man. He got this one. I got to take the L on. Like, this is
road health matters too. Like, when we talk health as well, road health matters. That's where it comes from, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know everyone's just saying stuff about throat coat. I'm like, what's happening here?
Like, what's going on?
Brad is like up to.
He's like, what's going on over there with the Dukes?
Yeah. Well, don't worry. You guys are nothing compared to Sacred Boys.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh yeah,
we think we're
there's some
fouled
gnarly stuff every time.
Oh yeah, I know. I let Colin.
People were messaging me about like an autism list. I'm like, what's happening on that show? Like ranking our autism list and stuff like that. Matty, I think you and me ranked semi-high because
I'm sure they literally pulled in that I knew it. Yeah, I was gonna say
because
I'm a Sonic fan, so immediately I'm like,
especially at older and stuff like that.
Hey, yo.
And I think because I've been playing Pokemon games now, they ranked me pretty high.
So if you're like childhood
like Hearts,
IP in your adult age, you have autism. Yeah. Is the logic here?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Savage.
I think they're just deflecting. We know
of course.
The Sacred Boys are top 3 on that list.
Yes,
for sure. Okay, dudes, finally, for me, good news happened. Switch 2 was finally announced. After months of speculation, all the leaks, we pretty much saw it a week or two before, but Nintendo finally revealed it, showed us just a glimpse of Mario Kart. I just want to get your boys' thoughts on this right now. I'm just curious how you guys think, especially because both of you play on handheld PCs and stuff like that. You're big into that scene. Cog, I want to start with you. How are you feeling about Switch 2?
Feeling good. I mean, it's interesting because I felt like when I saw a lot of people's response, they were kind of like underwhelmed. And I get it because it's kind of safe for Nintendo in a sense, right? We look at Nintendo sometimes as the innovators. Okay, what crazy thing are they going to come up with where, sometimes they take a bet on something and the industry follows. I remember like, the analog with 64 and so on and so forth. So for me, as a Sega kid, admittedly, my favorite console was probably like the NES, SNES. And then when they got too out of the box, they lost me. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Wii was a moment. Don't get me wrong. But I ain't gonna lie, Brad. Like, when I remember seeing Switch 1 for the first time, and I was like, hey, yo, that's me. The guy, you take it out the dock, he's jumping on the plane. Now, I wasn't the dude at the basketball court and on the rooftop party. I wasn't that dude. I remember that marketing. But I was like, yo, and then the form factor. And to me, it was like, because my only issue with Vita's like my greatest handheld, right? But like, the only issue was that, like, remember, Vita didn't have the dual analogs and they had the little touch thing at the back to kind of compensate. So I'm like, yo, they got the form factor, then they got the Joy-Cons. So to me, I'm like, Nintendo, you nailed this. Like, I am coming home to you as a Sega kid. Like, I'm back. So for me, in this climate, this is why I'm getting at, is that I felt this was the right call. Like, if you go too crazy in this console market, you can get out of here. Now, we do have to figure out what these new features. I want to know what that secret button is. What the hell is this mouse thing? Are we PC flirting, Nintendo? What are we doing here? Yeah, like what's that about, right? So then, obviously, we saw the Mario Kart. Looks like 24 players or something like that. All right, cool. And for me, I'm weird. I'm a weird Nintendo guy. It says that most people buy Nintendo systems for their first party. Outside of Zelda and maybe Metroid, I am not there. You guys do the Pokemon. I don't do that stuff. So I actually like playing third party. Like, I was the guy who was buying third party games. I was the guy who's buying Astral Chain. I'm buying all the other stuff that they do or they got. So I like that they're gonna have the support. They're gonna have a power that's comparative, most likely to like a PS4 with upscaling, PS4 Pro with upscaling technology, DLSS. So I'm excited. I think it's and then obviously with this, we do run the Dukes with the state of the Xbox. And we're going to see some Xbox games there. And there's something about, I know this is going to sound hilarious, it's something about Master Chief Collection on this thing that you can do land with Joy-Cons with the, like, I kind of want it on a cartridge, bro. Like, I want to see what that is, kind of thing. So that's it. And my last thing, Nintendo, please. I've been very nice to y'all. This feature, you got to give me one of the two. You're either going to give me achievements, trophies. Or if you're not going to give me that, can we have messaging with your online, bro? Please. I don't want my friend list to be a glorified stalker list. Baddy's doing this for 6 hours. Like, I want to be able to send my man a message and be like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, come on, Nintendo. That's the thing I'm pushing on that. But other than that, I'm good, man. I'm be there day one, see what's going on.
Yeah.
I like what else. Well, I'm curious with Matty. We never talked about the Switch.
No, we didn't, because we talked about how we expected the following day after recording there would be that reveal, and we'll see what happens and talk about it on the show. So yeah, we didn't actually get a chance to really talk about it until now. But yeah, I get where people are coming from about them being like underwhelmed by a Switch 2. And like I felt the same way of like, oh, this is exactly what I expected. And there is a little bit of, I put this in quotes, underwhelming with that. But I do feel like that's Nintendo proper. Like you do the DS, then the 3DS, right? Or the Wii, then the Wii U. There's not these major overhauls. They're kind of revisions of something that was a massive success. And the Switch was a huge success. And I don't blame them for, even if they weren't going to do that half step forward, if you will, I don't blame them for playing it a little bit safe after the Wii U and just kind of like trying to maintain that Switch momentum, especially like that install base is massive and, you want to keep the back compat and all that. So I get not reinventing the wheel at this time in the developer climate where it's like a really high risk play to like go out and do something completely different. And that failure could hurt more than it did during the Wii U. So I get it. I feel like people are with that, but I also think Nintendo had a pretty reserved reveal because, I mean, Jason Schreier put it out there that this reveal is mostly done because developers can now start to announce games for the system. And so it kind of felt like a response to the leaks, but also like, we just got to get this out of the way and we'll show you everything later and how this all works. Like there's that C button and apparently it's called Campus. Like that's what the leaks are saying. It's going to have like up to 12 player party chat, that sort of thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Matty, no. The leaks
you have to be subscribed to Switch Online though. So it's your Xbox Live Gold experience.
Okay. What?
But yes. That's all we really know about that. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be like a Miiverse thing or like a Street Pass thing. Like it's going to be like traditional online, that sort of thing, which is cool. I know, right? I'm just like, wow, they caught up with the 360.
Yeah.
But the leak said it's kind of supposed to be on the level of a PS4. I'm like, that's so much for Nintendo to work with. Like that is very exciting. I don't know. I thought the PS4 Xbox One generation was really great. I enjoyed the games there. I thought they looked plenty great. And the idea that I can carry that type of content in the palm of my hand is exciting. I'm curious as well about the mouse because I feel like Nintendo's going to make a gimmicky game, like a 1-2 switch style game where like, you're commanding like a ship and like you're just sliding the mouse, like the mice on the ground and pulling the triggers and shooting your guns or something. I don't know. I feel like they're going to do something crazy with it, but I can see games getting a little creative with that. But yeah, man, I mean, I love the Switch. I still buy for it. I bought a bunch of games because of the Switch 2 reveal because I'm just like ready to dive into the Switch 2 simply because the first one's become so underpowered that like playing modern games on it lost its luster in the last like 2 years of its lifespan. I know for many people that like didn't matter, but for me, I was just like, playing things on this sucks right now. Like it's a great system and it will become probably one of my most used systems again once it can run games. Like again, I don't need 60 4K. I don't need that. I just need this to not look like a slideshow sometimes, right? Which is what a lot of games feel like. But I'm excited personally. It's cool to see it's finally out there. It's kind of what's been leaked for a while, and it's really the games it comes down to. Like when you saw 24 racers in Mario Kart, like I was kind of predicting that they're going to do a Smash Ultimate approach to Mario Kart and just bring in like all other kart racers to like just load this fucking roster up and have these, like, massive races. Like I think that would be such a fun, cool idea because if you're like trying to one up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which just had a stupid amount of tracks, especially now with the expansion pass they did and everything, I'm really curious to see like what they do with 9, which again was also unfortunately part of the leaks. Like it was expected that Mario Kart was going to be attached to this thing, which can you blame them? I mean, the attachment rate for Mario Kart 8, I think it's like 71 million or something like that. Like it's
insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So it's a smart call. It's very businessy. You can see the business decisions in some of these, and I think that's what kills it for people. But this will be old news by the direct, and so that's why I'm like not reactive to it all. I'm like, dude, this is great. Like a new Nintendo. Like I love new hardware because here's the thing that I think people are getting lost in. And I'll just say this in closing: is like I mentioned this in my video. Like we're only gonna get so many more of these. Like hardware is changing dramatically where it might become redundant for a lot of people and companies may stop producing it. Certainly we know it looks like Xbox is the first on the way out. We don't know what Valve's going to do, but like, I think hardware will still be relevant for a while, but like maybe we have like a decade or more left of these types of things coming out and things could change. Maybe that's not the case, but right now that's what it feels like. And I'm like, you know what, man? Like it's awesome that we're getting another new system from Nintendo and I'm going to get a lot of use of this. I'm going to have that moment that I'll always remember of like when the system first came in, what I was doing, how I expected it. Like my Switch 1 came in early from Best Buy. Like it came in like a day or two early. And I remember being like, that excitement, even though I was in college, I was like, that excitement just hit me in such a strong way. Like it's so fun. Like I think we all remember each console we bought and where we were, what we were doing, the feelings. So I'm just kind of cherishing the moment. And I'm very excited to buy new hardware this year, you know, because everything else, like for example, like the Xbox Series X and the PS5, man, like we were all inside when that happened. The Steam Deck got shipped to my doorstep. And so like, I don't know, I kind of want to go out for a system is how I'm feeling right now. I want to be with the people and just experience that, right? Like I watch way too many videos of midnight releases to not just go out and get my Switch, risk getting fucking stabbed in the parking lot for it. Like it's gonna be sick, dude.
Bring it back to memories.
Yeah.
The ghouls on the corner. Wait, come on, man.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's really about the games and the rumored games. Like I'm predicting that because right now the Oblivion remake's floating around and like they're saying it's not gonna be at the developer direct. So I'm like, Switch 2. It's got to show up on the Switch 2. Like that. That'd be boss.
A lot of stuff will be shown for the Switch 2 for other platforms. I feel.
Oh
yeah, jumping point. I think so.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is going to make a statement on that show.
Oh yeah, I think so. They're going to show out.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of Xbox games there. Like I think they're going to have their own little section of like, here's Hellblade 2, here's Microsoft Flight Sim, here's this, here's that, here's Halo. Like I think it's all going to. I think they're just going to pour it on right there.
Yeah. Man, playing Hellblade 2 on a Switch would be so weird. No, thank you.
No one needs to do that.
No, thank you.
Cog, you brought up some funny points in the sense that Nintendo's online has been so backwards for so long in so many ways. Like using an app on your phone to do voice chat for Switch is like
remember
the most Nintendo thing ever.
That's like the tin can with the string to me. That's what I think of.
Yeah,
bro. I was like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
I'm just saying, I get my co-hosts on Punching Up never agree with me, but I'm like, yo, it's time for achievements. It's time for trophies or something.
Fight, bro.
I every time they're like, no, we don't need them. And I'm like, no.
Why are they so resistant? I don't get Nintendo fans with this.
I don't know.
Someone suggested a great idea in my comment section. They said Nintendo should do like a sticker book for each game.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can like stick them on your profile. And I'm like, okay, it's a fucking awesome idea. I'm like, that's so cool. That's so Nintendo, but it's achievements and it feels personable and cutesy and like a toy that they can eventually fucking sell. Like, brilliant.
I just don't understand the mindset by both Nintendo fans, like as to why not? Why don't you want it? Like what does this harm? What does this hurt? You know, kind of. I'm just trying to be legit honest. Like I'm trying to get the other mindset. I noticed a strong pushback whenever I mention it, kind of thing.
Some Nintendo fans don't want something unless Nintendo does it. Nintendo does it, then they'll be all about it. So just keep that in mind if they do achievements.
Selfishly, I just want Nintendo to do it so we can just make a shitstorm on Defining Duke and be like, Xbox, bro. Now Nintendo's doing it.
Oh, yeah, that's a
topic. Evolved your thing. Nintendo's doing it. You're just sitting there with like, oh, well, we added a diamond achievement. Get the fuck out of here.
That would be wild too. And if Nintendo did the actual, what is it, like a platinum?
Yeah. Dude. They did a platinum. No, I didn't even think of that yet. If they did a platinum equivalent, I would lose my fucking mind. I'd be so upset.
Yeah, we go on a rant. We'd be on a rant, anti-Xbox rant for a minute.
Yeah. That'd be good content for sure.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. Like, I don't really understand the surprise of Switch 2 being Switch 2. It's like Switch was the most successful console they've ever done. A winning formula. Why would they not continue it? Why are they going to try to reinvent the wheel when it doesn't need to be reinvented? Yes, necessarily. Yeah. Think about the Wii. They're coming off the GameCube, which did not do well. Okay, then you got the Wii U. Of course, the Wii U was a success, but it fell off hard at the end. Then they did the Wii U. And of course, the Switch, because the Wii U was hot garbage. And I think it's smart because they don't have to divide resources between handheld and consoles anymore. Yeah, because they're always going to have a handheld. Always.
I always. This sounds like I'm over defending Nintendo. I hope people know I'm not like a big Nintendo fan at all. But I'm like, what would you rather them do then? Like, I feel like this is the prime evolution. This is like peak Nintendo. Like, I always knew them for handheld, and I also knew them for like really great console games. And this brings them together. I'm like, I don't know. I'm ready for whatever they come up with that's next. But I'm like, I don't know what I would want them to do. That's not a Switch. I'm like, this is like the penultimate Nintendo device to me. And I would put money on, even they're like, they probably have ideas, but I put money on it. They're like, we don't know yet. They're probably still like researching, developing and testing ideas. Like, what do you do? I'm sure people have ideas, but for me off the top of my head, I'm like, I'm cool with a very powerful Switch. Like that is what I wanted in the first place. The Switch was underpowered when it first came out. So to bring it up to like PS4 speed with DLSS, I'm like, the amount of shit they can make, that's plenty. That's plenty. No longer will Nintendo be handicapped by tech. They can make as much as they want with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, well said. And I agree with Brad 100% as far as like, making the right call. You just came off the most successful system you've ever done. And then think about it. We always talk about with PlayStation and Xbox One with that digital era. Like Nintendo has married the digital era and then being able and still do physical, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not losing with the back of pat. You got all your games coming and hopefully a glow up, maybe some of those. Maybe I'm asking too much here, but at least, you won't lose that library. So that's critical for them off their most success. I think it was the right call, man. And you made a good point, Matty, in terms of all the noise as far as under revealing as far as this reveal, because it was short, it was quick. I think it was more response to the leakers. Let's get ahead of it. Let's get it out there. But once that direct happens and you see the software, that you see whatever ingenuity that they're going to try to do, because they will do something cool and Nintendo-y, right? To show the tech.
Because people are forgetting that I'm trying to remember how I would want to describe it, but there was that game that leaked from Nintendo that looked like, kind of like a campus. Like it seemed like it was going to be this. People were speculating it was going to be this like free built-in software from Nintendo.
It was like it was like the online test thing.
That was what it was. And I feel like that might be something that people are sleeping on. That's like, oh, it's available now or when it drops. You know, so I think they have a lot more surprises in store than people are giving credit for.
Yeah, they always do
like if they have the mouse, like let's say the Joy-Con functions as a mouse, like what's the multi-purpose of that? Like what do you do with that?
Yeah,
makes you wonder.
Mario Paint, bring it back.
Oh hell yeah, that's a good idea. That's awesome.
Cool. All right, that's enough about Nintendo. Boys, though, you both have been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Indeed.
We got a lot of people are curious about this game. I'm going to read a couple write-ins just so we get this out there before you guys cover it. This is from Connor Reese. Greetings, gentlemen. I'm currently playing through Kingdom Come Deliverance in anticipation of the sequel, and this is my second time playing it. To this day, it is still one of the most unique RPGs out there. What would you say are some of the main improvements in the sequel? I'm hoping that the combat is tightened up a bit, but still remains a challenge, and that just a few other things are more streamlined without taking away the experience of living in this world. Thanks for all you guys do, and hope you have a great week, Connor. And this one really quick. This is also from Connor, a different Connor McCurdy. Hey, Bradus Maximus, Malevolent Matty, and Count Cogula. My question is for Matty and Cog. With KCD2, how have some of the things carried over from the first game? Specifically, something like reading. Also, did either of you try lockpicking? And is it still annoying as shit? Have a great show, boys, and thank you for all your hard work. All right, so people want to know. I guess we can I'll just read that because I'm sure you guys will probably cover it when we get through everything. But yeah, Cog, let's start with you. Mm-hmm. Talk to me. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I know you're a big fan of the series.
Yeah, that's one of my little number one draft picks when they were a little Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? To see them pop off. Look, shout out to the Reese, Connor Reese. That's the homie. Salute. Look, the first thing I would say off the bat is the glow up. The glow up is just amazing. What CryEngine is doing right now, in terms of the dialogue, the conversation. And I'll be honest, I kind of went back to other games, even like including, Baldur's Gate and what I consider like the high fidelity role playing games where, where they go up close to you, when you got the dialogue choices and so on and so forth. This is really impressive in terms of like a almost natural conversation and dialogue, and the lip syncing where it's like it feels like the words are being enunciated. So this is the most immersive thing. So the first thing you're gonna notice is the glow up. To Connor's question about the combat, yes, it is still a challenge. It is still a challenge. They have not wavered from their vision of how this is, because they are not about dragons. They're not about magic. Right. This is the century in Bohemia back in the day. You're going to learn this sword play, and you're going to get your riposte on. You're going to block, and you're going to do the angles. But I will say it is a little more refined, and I will feel the riposte. The parry is the window is a little tighter, so that you got a better chance to get in there. So look, it's definitely a point of contention. That was one of my struggles, with the first game, but they stayed true to it. And then with what you call as far as carrying over. I didn't do a lot of reading, Connor McGurdy. I didn't do a lot of reading, but I did see perks where now like you can improve your sitting because it's so immersive, so that if you're doing stuff for a long time, it's not going to fatigue you and have these adverse effects. So the thing I would say is like the skill trees, the perk trees, everything is just so tight and so immersive. And I'll get into more, but oh yeah, definitely lockpicking is still crazy. I ain't even messing. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I have a question for you to get crazier into it.
Yes, please.
Reading. Can you explain that to me how this works in the first game?
Yeah, so pretty much reading it as far as getting information and in the world and books and stuff like that. Almost like, you go through I know alchemy has reading, but that's different. That's more for like creating spells. But this is actually like getting abilities and stuff like that. So it was always part of the game, and now it's still more of it, but I will say I haven't done enough of it in the new one to see how much it differentiated from the first one. So just my play style right now hasn't leaned into reading. All I did was like pick a perk that was like, okay, if you're going to be doing this and getting your scholar on and learning stuff, that each time I think something to the effect that you sit, it doesn't affect you negatively or something. Like it's one of the perks that I kind of picked and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at. So I can't speak too authoritatively on the reading part just yet and how it differs from the first one because I need to get more in. My style has been way different. I'll tell you about the stuff I've been doing this time with KCD2.
Yeah, Matty, let's talk to you, man. You've been also playing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, have you played the first game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I beat the first one. I was really excited for the first one. Played it, beat it. Thought it was like good, is what I would say. Like it was pretty buggy. Combat was very unique. World was really unique. The way you kind of approach your objectives could be as unique as you wanted it to be. And so going into KCD2, I was like, all right. Like I was honestly, I remember when it got announced. I guess it makes sense thinking about it, but I was a little surprised. Like, oh, another one of these. All right, cool. But yeah, Cog really covered a lot of the initial bases I would have gotten into. I have like 10 hours in the game right now. Visually it looks really good. I've been playing it on my PC, and I will say I've had some trouble really loving it in the early going. It's a very good game. I would not at this point tell people to steer clear. But I will say that if you aren't a massive KCD fan, like this game isn't going to change your opinion. Like, it's not like, oh, this is the one for you. They very much stay true to all of the design philosophies that made KCD 1 so unique and appealing to many in the first place. So just keep that in mind. But for me, the struggles I'm having are wearing off, but it was just some initial early frustrations. I don't think the prologue was good at all. It was just a big recap, and I was like, this should be skippable. Like this was way too long. And I only say that because then I lost my save file and I had to redo it. So I had to do that twice. That sucked. That really sucked. Like that is always a bummer. And especially when a game like this has a really mechanically driven save system of drinking a potion to manually save your game. They have exit saves. They do also have auto saves in particular quest steps. So it is fine for the most part. It's just, you can see in my experience how quickly that can go south. And I'm like, oh, I have to redo this. It also means if you get ambushed by bandits in the early going of the game, you die, you lose progress. It's the game will frustrate you. And maybe I just forgot what that felt like. Was it 2017, 18 when this game came out? It was a while ago. But the early going's tough, which I expected, but I think losing progress just left me a little jaded. At first, I was like, this fucking sucks, man. But getting out of that, figuring your way through like your first few encounters, getting your initial Groshans, getting that early gear, and honestly, just like failing my way around this world, bro. Like I slipped off a rock, broke my leg. So I was like, fuck, gotta waste some bandages, took a bath, had these ladies treat my wounds, fell again, broke my leg again. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding, dude. Like I'm awful at this. That's where the adventure kind of takes over, where not everything goes according to plan, but it does have a very satisfying progression curve once you get there. But I'm too early to really say anything definitively, like, because I think loving this game takes time. I could totally see myself having a totally different opinion in a week from now, and it definitely, the quality level's higher. These side quests are huge. I'm very impressed by that. Very impressed by that. You'll like go, because they do their steps in letters, and I'm on a side quest right now that has me on like step N. And I'm just like, holy, like it just keeps going. He's like, yeah, I need you to find my daughter. Okay, cool. Find the daughter. I need this. Okay, go back. He's like, well, if I'm going to do that for you, I need you to do these two things over here. okay. So I go do those 2 things over there. Come back. He's like, okay, well, sorry, but actually I can't do what I just told you I was going to do. You actually need to do this. And so it just, this was one particular example where the side quest just kept fucking going. I was like, I know this whole pocket of the world inside and out. And I appreciated that because I was like, this is getting to know a cast of characters in a really drawn out way. But I don't know any RPG that has side quests that go this long. I honestly think the closest I can think of is a recent one in Indiana Jones. That's not an RPG, but like where the side quest felt like very meaningful.
Yeah. Yes.
So I appreciate that in this game. I will also say this game is hilarious.
It's wild funny.
This
That's what I was saving.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Wild funny.
I will just say when Hans Capon's at the gate, that was I laughed out loud like 4 different times. His voice actor is so good, so funny. They just have great chemistry, him and Henry, and it leads to some really good moments. It feels like you're watching a movie at times, just like oh, what misadventures will these 2 get up to now? And just the shit they find themselves in. It's interesting because the game does take itself seriously, but times like that, it doesn't, and it's for the better. So I don't know. You just kind of let the game take you on a ride, and I've been having a good time with it. And as I approached like hour 10, I was like, okay, I have my gear, I have some money, I can breathe a little bit in this world. Like, oh, you want to ambush me? Okay, let's go. Like, it's not a level of like, oh, you want to ambush me? Like, no, I surrender. I don't want to do that. Dude, that was my fault though. My ego got in the way. My first death in the game, like they're like 2 bandits approached me. They're like, give us all you want. I could either surrender or battle cry. And I was like, well, I'm gonna battle cry, and I go to take them on. They 2 hit me. I'm like, there goes 30 minutes of progress because I just couldn't. I had nothing on me to give up. So I was like, I should have just surrendered, but my ego wouldn't let me. So the game has a fun way of humbling you as I talk about it. But it definitely in those initial moments, it just. Oh my God, pissed me the hell off, especially losing progress. That sucks.
Oh no, for sure.
I will also just say, and this is a hot take, I do wish the game had a conventional save system. I get it adds more emphasis on like how careful you have to be when roaming the world. I don't think you lose that, and I will just say that because the game so infrequently saves, I don't like exit saving to make sure I don't lose progress, like shutting the application down. That sucks. That's not good. So. You know, I'm working around the game systems because the risk gets too high. It's like, oh, it's been 2 hours. Oh, and you haven't saved for me yet. I'm about to go invade this camp of thieves to try to steal a horse. I'm gonna exit save. And I'm just like,
you gave me the system now. I see what you do. Yeah, look,
because the savior snaps are like hard to come by at times.
They're very hard to come by. Yeah, and then also if you're too far away from a bed, right, and you didn't sleep at an inn or sleep in a bed, that's another save. Point, but you're right in terms of the risk because even fast traveling, this game is hardcore, Brad. Like, you fast travel and then you see it, and then encounter. It's not just going to teleport you there. You'll see your Henry going across, and then it'll pop off 2 bandits on the road. What's up? Or some other wild scenario, and you lost everything at that point. It is painful. So it's definitely their design choice, but I empathize with Matty because there are times where I'm like, bro, I done did so much and you lose track. You're like, I better figure out a way to get saved somehow because it could go down and you could lose a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah. This sounds really interesting to me. So what you guys are talking about the save system reminds me a lot when I've played like Dragon Quest games when I was younger. Like Dragon Quest 8 on PS2 I played. And I remember the only way to save was go to like a church and actually save there. And you die, let's say in a dungeon. Oh, there goes 40 minutes of progress, 30 minutes of progress. And I think that's a really cool old school mentality, which I personally think is really sick because it adds stakes and makes the world feel way more dangerous. But at the same time, it feels like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too with this exit save system because you can just exit the game and it saves. So it's just like that when you put in that layer also, I understand because they want to add a quality of life thing, but it also just kind of makes the other hardcore save system feel very irrelevant. I haven't played it yet, so I don't really know. I haven't played any of them. So, but I do like the idea of kind of trying to add these systems. I think it's so, this is what I'm interested about this game because you guys talk about these systems going on in this game, like reading, and people are trying to like explain combat to me, and I don't really quite get it because I haven't played the game yet. But this is like what to me sets this game apart in a lot of ways from other RPGs that I've heard about. Can you go a little more in depth, I guess, what they've changed about some of these systems in this game or anything new they've added?
I'm trying to think. Well, Matty, you as far as like you're the
that's the one thing I will just say that I am struggling to see with the game at this point is like it is a lot more of KCD 1, which is not a bad thing. That's why it's great. But in fact, like for example, reading in KCD 1 was like a skill you had to learn because the letters on the page would be all like jumbled up and stuff. And to be able to like do alchemy, you'd have to learn how to read first. And I thought that's like my favorite little detail that KCD 1 had. But in KCD 2, I mean, they carry, again, you talk about cake and eat it too. That's probably its biggest drawback right now for me is like it's trying to like keep Henry leveled up based on where he's at in the story. Like he knows how to read the start of the game. Like one of the first things you do in the tutorial is like build an elixir. But yet the game wants to like level 1 you in all other areas. And so they'll like bring back like your levels, your perks to like a place where he's clearly not at in the story, which is a little frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of differences. I'd say it's the side quests, it's the writing quality. It's definitely the cutscenes. Cutscenes are way better. The story presentation's way better. It's really in the main meat of the game. The combat is smoother, I would say. Like, almost easy. Like, once the fights start, I think it's kind of like wait for them to strike, parry, hit them,
Assassin's Creed.
Wait. Yeah. That's a good comparison. I didn't think of that, but a little bit. Because Assassin's Creed is like too easy. Like, but this is a level of like, like this is a level of, I just feel like I'm always deflecting. The parry window is really easy. You counter strike them, or you get really close to them. You activate a clinch. I'm a high strength character, so I just shove them off, hit them over the head like 3 times, and I'm like, all right, you're dead.
That's cool.
And this is before I had like really good gear too. So I would say I'd be curious to see how the KCD faithful take to it. I think the combo system and sort of the way attacks strike together and the perk system it builds into where it's like your opening strike. Let's say I hit you on your right arm. You're going to have more trouble deflecting that. Like those perks are really important. The combos are really important. Like I have a perk that it's like, oh, if I string together a combo on you, I regain some of my stamina. And like stamina is everything in these fights.
Stamina is huge in this game.
Yeah. So again, it's a lot of just like refining what was there in the first game. And I would just say it's a tighter KCD 1, which is not a bad thing at all. It's really good. And I know some people may interpret what I'm speaking as like underwhelmed. It's more I'm trying to be non-committal to my statements because I'm 10 hours into like a probably 80-hour game or something like that. So I just want to make sure I'm giving people feedback that they can run with, but not being so like it's bad or it's great. It's like, it's way too early to call. I just know there's been a lot of improvements all over the board and that early going is tough and it does take patience that I wonder if I'm losing a little bit of,
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
There is a level of like, it's not even like, oh, I don't have time for this shit. This is my living. I have time for this shit. But it's just like when you lose save progress, it definitely sucks.
No, I understand that. Yeah. It can be frustrating for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. To add on to Matty's point, again, based on where we both are, it's a refinement on every level as far as like everything that KCD 1 had, it's there. So I can't say like it's so much different from what I've experienced so far, but it's just tighter. It just feels, more accessible. And then again, with the combat, I can speak about specifically, it's obviously very stamina based. If Brad, you never played it, pretty much how you position your sword, right, left, and up, down, and poke. It's like how you go to strike. You have to read your opponent, right? So a lot of times if he's holding the sword in the right, the left's open. So you want to attack the opposite side, stuff like that. Then the windows, I will say, for the countering is tighter. There are more notifications and stuff like that to try to get you to get into that timing window. But to Matty's point, it is not just swing wildly because you will be out of stamina. And this game has no problem jumping you with 3 or 4 multiple characters. They have no problem, making the odds against you. And I will say the onboarding is hard in the beginning. It's roughly, you are a stripped down version of yourself, and you have to earn everything. Like you have no money, you have no, like the gear you pick up off of people and stuff. Even the alchemy system and stuff like that, putting things together, everything is very deliberate. Like you are literally putting the potion there. You're getting the crack pot going. You're getting a file. You're grinding the herbs. Like you are literally making everything. Also, your appearance, you get dirty. You have to wash. You know what I'm saying? It affects how people react to you in the world. And it's a game that really starts you from nothing. So every bit of thing that you do feels like an accomplishment. Every little thing you do feels like a huge accomplishment. The thing that I'm having the most fun is, and I'll just before we move on to the next thing, is that I'm having, this game likes to skill check the hell out of you, and I do like that. I do like any conversation, reputation loss, reputation gained. They didn't like that. I got into an argument with Hans, and the best part of this game to me is their relationship and how hilarious this game can be. And every little thing, I've replayed scenes multiple times just on the way I talk to someone. There's a scene that starts off pretty early without spoiling that, you are surrounded and they got the drop on you, right? So you come out to kind of diffuse the situation. At that point, you can kind of pick how you want to do, scout, soldier, and that'll give you like kind of some base starting stats. But what happens is, the way I played it the first time, I made the situation worse, kept failing skill checks. The guy caught me in my, things that I would say lies, but things that didn't add up in his eyes and his perception of my conversation. And Hans had to come in and say, look, forgive my squire. He doesn't know, like, you know what I'm saying? And he diffused the situation. It was like, bro, shut up. He's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got this. I said, let me see how deep KCD. I went back, replayed that situation. Totally different. I went with, I believe, like a scout. And then I'm saying, hey, guys, I'm looking to help you guys out. Totally diffused the situation. Totally had a different outcome. So it has these Mass Effect level trees of where things can go in just the littlest of conversations. And that's the part, like this game, it's a labor of love. It's a hard start, but once you see the complexities, then you get to appreciate it more. So yeah, that's pretty much my overview of it. Like you got to commit.
How many hours do you have in it right now?
Right now, about 25.
Okay,
maybe?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm like halfway to work. So I feel like I was just turning the corner last night when I was playing, where I was like, I feel like it's starting to click.
Yeah,
and so I feel like I'll be where you're at.
Yeah,
in double that time.
So I want to play this. I have not played the first game, and you said at the beginning of the prologue is kind of like a recap of the game. Do you think it does a good job of catching people up?
If you've never played the first game, you are literally going to get what happened through the first game. Yeah, you are going to get in an abbreviated, almost, Netflix style, recap and through, certain flashbacks and stuff, you're gonna get that. So you don't have to worry too much if you didn't play, but obviously you're gonna lose the context of certain characters that show up. You're like, oh wow, this seems like an important character, but there's a lot of depth with certain ones. So yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The game's not out yet, obviously. It's still a work in progress, but I am curious. The first game came out in a bad state when it released. How is it feeling this time around? Do you think it's a little tighter coming out? Of course, it's not out yet, so there's still things to come. But so far, how's it performing for you guys?
So performance-wise on PC, I've been doing fine. No frame drops, running smooth. And also, I always tell people, like, my PC used to, like, heat up with some games that just weren't optimized well, and, like, fine on that front, too. So, honestly, smooth sailing in that regard. I think the combat AI isn't great. I think the way I was doing a little test and I climbed up onto like the lip of a rock, and the way they were kind of just like looking up at me with their weapons drawn, like, but they couldn't figure out not how to climb up, but all they had to do was go around this very small like lip face and come to me and try to fight me. But they couldn't do that. So I think there's some moments like that happen really often, because you'll be fighting in like the woods and like you'll go behind like a tree, which very easily it feels like in your head they should just go right around and get you. Right. Get stuck on it. So that would be like my biggest tech call out right now. But if you're talking like polish compared to the first game. I mean, I think it's night and day. At least in my experience, I'm very pleased with it. Like, I think a lot of people are expecting this game. I think people did oversell how fucking janky it was at launch. Like, it was buggy, but like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I play a lot of BGS games. I'm like, I'm right at home. But this does feel a lot tighter to me. Quest steps are not failing for me like they were in the first game at times. Navigation is very clear. Communication from its like design systems is really clear. So I don't know. I feel like everything has been much more tightened up here, where I'm not having a bad time. Cog, are you playing on consoles though? Is it?
No. I played on PC as well.
Okay.
And yeah, same thing. I mean, it's running extremely well. Didn't really have any issues as far as drops or anything like that. I put my field of view out to really kind of test it. And the thing that I noticed too is from the glow up standpoint, Brad, is it's massive. And this open world, like the forest, the open, like it's very naturey. And like you can hunt and you can do things, like you can be lost in this world. And they really upped their game in terms of the scope, is my opinion, of what's going on. Now, yeah, to Matty's point, I've seen some AI things, you know what I'm saying? And as far as, just I had like a weird issue. It was just kind of like I kind of like dropped into a ravine and got stuck for a little bit. So I was just like, all right, let me go back to a old. Oh, actually, I solved it by fast traveling. That's actually how I solved the issue. That was I was like, oh no, I'm not. I said, I did mad stuff. I'm gonna lose. Oh no! Like I panicked for a second. I was like, wait a minute, you can just fast travel, and then this could be over with. But yeah, that's what I feel. It's just such. It's a beautiful game when you really look at it from the top level on. So that to me is the main thing. It's more of this. But to Matty's point, and this is what I will say overall to someone who's casual. This game can be overwhelming. This game there's a lot going on. The UI is a lot. The menus are a lot. They're skilled. It's a ton of things and systems to worry about. And just to do basic things, sometimes I have to go to the codex. I'm like, oh yeah, what do we do for this? How do I do that? Same kind of thing. It can, if you stick with it, you know what I'm saying, because of the onboarding. Not that the onboarding is terrible. It's just that it's so many systems and all of them interact together. And you have to pay attention to everything. It really has effect on the world.
Yeah, very hardcore game. Which sounds appealing to me. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, no, it's definitely its greatest strength. It's that early going that's tough, but I think once you climb over that, it's really good. I also would throw out there, at least right now, what I'm kind of thinking is if you have trouble detaching yourself from if you can see through kind of what a game designer is doing and it sticks out to you like a sore thumb, this game might irk you at times. Like the prologue is clearly like a business decision. Like, oh, we had 8 million copies sold on our last game over time. Like we very much want to catch new people up. We're expecting a surge of sales. Like let's do this part of the game that's really not necessary, in my opinion. Like I think this just had to be a little optional cutscene. You watch it. Like what was Henry up to in his last game? Boop, bada bing, bada boom. And we just pick up the adventure. Like you'll see some choices like that I feel are a little bit more gamified, or like how the initial main plot sets itself up after you get out of the prologue and you are let off the leash and it's like you can go wherever. The way they kind of set up the quest doesn't, to me, feel like an organic part of the relationship that was occurring there. And so it's designed just to like put someone somewhere else where you kind of have to just go out and adventure. And there may have been a more natural way of doing it. So this is me nitpicking, to be extremely clear, but I think sometimes those nitpicks can add up a little bit if you can start to see through the design of a game and it's kind of breaking your immersion because you know why they're doing the things they're doing. So I just wanted to throw that out there as like, I know it's a very particular crowd, but if this is something that stands out to you, that you're just well aware of it is all.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to what you said, because I get your point. I think the design decision, because they're so overwhelming, they wanted to handhold a little bit on each system. Like, let's say like 5 of the 20 systems, so to speak, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to walk you through this part now. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to, so it is, they don't let you just rock, to Matty's point, they don't let you just rock out. That prologue is really, and I think this was their feedback for people, I don't want to say to casualize it, so they don't lose people who are just like, yo, bro, this is, what the hell, this is too much.
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's like a clear business decision. It is for the new fans. And that is totally cool. I've never been against that. I just think there was a way to do it where like me, who has played this game before, right? Like I know KCD1. The systems are the same pretty much. Like, just let me jump to that point.
Right. You would have liked the option to say, okay,
100%.
Skip prologue, so to speak.
Yeah.
100%. You don't even realize the prologue until while you going. You thinking this is, I see what you're saying.
And I get part of the prologue. People are like, well, it's to build your character a little bit. But again, it's through, they try to meld together that recap with the building of your character. Like, hey, remember when you beat up this guy in Ratai? And then you have like all these options like, yeah, I muscled him down, strength build. No, I really dodged him, agility, and that's what they try to do. So again, not the end of the world. I'm not trying to oversell it. I guess I'm over-informing at this point. But wasn't a fan of the prologue and these types of speed bumps, plus the initial grind. I would say, based on my experience, it takes about 10 hours to start to really like this thing and like come to grips with it all and be like, this is the world, this is what's happening here, and turn that corner. And some people don't have that time, right? I do, but some people listeners might look at KCD2, its gameplay showings, and be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait," and not realize that to get to the point they're showing, you got to go through like a lot of crap in a good and bad way to get there. But if you do get there, it's starting to feel like that rewarding sense that made me like the first one so much. So just a word of warning to anyone who's picking it up. It's for the KCD fans proper, which is good news.
Yeah. But Cog, sounds like you've been enjoying it quite a bit, right? You're very so far with it. Good.
Yeah, man. I'm really loving the story. That's what's really impressive. The story is rich. And to Matty's point, hilarious, but then also you realize what's going on. You forget the culture and the laws of the time. You know what I'm saying? And again, one last thing I'd say that I thought was really cool. There was a moment between me and Hans and, early, and it was kind of like, bro, like, we're in a bad situation. I know you're a noble. I'm, whatever, the basic guy, peasant to a man. And we're in the grind right now. I'm gonna need your help. And he's like, no, the laws of man say that you are my,
I was like,
and I'm like, bro, like, you could keep trying to convince him. And he's like, no,
you
this
actually
is the way
lose reputation with him.
You lose reputation. Yeah. Facts. Bro, that scene, I was like, this is gold. And the extensive amount of dialogue and ways you could go to try to, coerce a situation, but the game is staying so rooted and true to the time period that it will affect you. You know what I'm saying? How you deal with people and how just even saluting people, like, it's so much to it. You know,
I just love how you can deal with him in a sense of being like, so you're really not going to help me? And he just, I won't say what happens afterwards. But I'm just like, dude, like, what a selfish asshole.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this game is crazy. Yeah. Like, and obviously the systems, the punishments, and all of that. You could be branded a thief. You could be like all types publicly whipped. Like, it is crazy the amount of going on in this time period.
I will say my favorite term to come out of this game is royal pizzle. I think that is a crazy ass term. I love it.
It's a lot of pizzle talk in this game.
Yeah. It's a lot of
pizzle.
So funny. It's such a funny game.
All right, this is from Ryan Lynch. Hey, Summoners. Glad to see some of the LSM crew playing Kingdom Come already. As a college history professor writing a book about history and games, I've got to ask, what draws you to a game like this? Are you interested in the setting of Bohemia and the region and getting to explore it all? Or is that just set dressing? Is what draws you to approach more realistic gameplay? What's the balance like for you? Looking forward to hear your thoughts on the game. Cog is king.
Oh, salute. Thank you. Much love. Much love.
All right. What's drawing you guys to this? Setting? Systems?
You know what I would say is I'm not a huge fantasy head. At the end of the day, it takes very particular ones. I point out, like, recently, I think Free Ren, Elder Scrolls, like types Avowed is another one that, because it's an Elder Scrolls like. So my divides of fantasy are growing more and more in interest, like Dragon's Dogma. So it's becoming more frequent, but it just takes like a particular flavor of it. Mm-hmm. But I love that Kingdom Come Deliverance is basically a stripped down version of all of that. Like, they don't have the opportunity to throw, I think Cog, you were saying, or like a magical dragon in the mix of all of this. Like, it takes on a very difficult challenge from the get go of like, we can't just like throw something to like a plot device in here to make this story interesting. Like, they have to very much rely on just like humans. They can't make up a creature, a beast, anything like that. It's all rooted in reality. So I think for me, it really stems, to be frank, less from the history aspect of it all and more from like this time period is informing so much of the gameplay that it makes me interested in playing it and learning more about said time period. I couldn't tell you shit about it now, but I had before KCD1 came out, like a little history lesson I put together of just like how in depth Warhorse went into to making Kingdom Come Deliverance authentic to its time period, and sort of like the it's funny, the lore you would need to know before going in was just like real history. So it was like a fun, different style video to make, and so that is what grew my appreciation of like a content creator. Is I was like, this is so different. Like an actual just like history lesson is like how you get ready for this game. So that was also really cool. So I think it really was just the idea of it being a slice of something different. It's not my favorite type of game, the kind of realism focused experience, just because I like the more imaginative, exaggerative, crazy, I call it like pseudoscience in games where it's a mixture of like reality and fiction. That's what I prefer. But for me, this is an attractive option because it is something different amongst the pool of options that are there for me.
Yeah, well said, man. I'm kind of in the same pocket. It's to Ryan's point, it's so rooted in realism, and it's staying true to who they are. Warhorse is not deviating, and I kind of like on some level that they're standing on business. I would, let's say, comparatively to an Avowed, which generally those type of games I gravitate towards more, which are high fantasy, magic spells, grimoire, this and that kind of stuff. But it's harder to do something like Matty said, just based on humans and the time. And for me, Lord Cognito, I like that, the times of man and nobility, and look at that lass over there. She's like I like the talk, that everything is so authentic, even down to the different races of people and them speaking in their native language when you talk to different NPCs and stuff like that. It's just really cool, and it's something, I guess, for me. I remember playing Skyrim and I'm saying, being blown away, right? Like, oh my God, this is the next level. And this is kind of like, yo, what if we made this Skyrim, but in this realistic time period with realistic figures? But yo, you really have to act like a human. You have to eat. You have to sleep. You have to make sure you're well kept. How people perceive you. Everyone has their own day of life and task. Every NPC, is doing stuff. And then the way you handle things, it's just so many options. The stealth, going into a camp, poisoning their thing while they sleep, knowing that at a certain time of day they're going to eat, and then you could kill that camp just because they you poison their crock pot. Or it's that, right? Mm-hmm. It's that. If you want that level of realism and immersion, which can be rough onboarding, right? But if you're willing to commit, then this is that for you. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. That dream game for you kind of thing. I think that's what they were kind of going for.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to trying this out. Sounds very interesting.
It's going to be a very busy month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Very busy.
Lot to play, bro.
Makes me worried for Avowed. It's like, I forgot it comes out in February. Just like, dude, there's so much coming out. Because I'm like,
that marketing, man.
Yeah, to get the marketing going.
Yeah, currently it's like not going to be that we know of, not at the direct thing. I'm
right.
Like, why are you guys pushing that a little bit? It's coming up quick.
That's what I was saying.
I thought the easy way to do it was like Outer Worlds 2 at the direct and kind of do a little duo push. Like,
also,
we're giving you
this is coming up.
This RPG as well, and talk about Avowed for a little bit. But I don't know. I don't fucking know what's going on over there. I given up.
Yeah. And we have like a pirate or whatever, the Yakuza pirate game coming out.
I have decided that is a priority for me this coming month. If I can make it work, I do want to play it. If the review cards line up where by the time like I'm done with reviewing certain things that I am actually free for that one, I'm going to make the jump. I'm going to try to just let go of my story concerns and just go for it. Because I've watched like every video that's come out on that. And I'm like, this looks like the Black Flag game I always wanted. Like, this looks amazing. Like Yakuza meets Black Flag is an amazing idea. So I'm going to try to make that a priority this coming month. I'm very excited for that game.
Yeah. And Monster Hunter is going to eat up all my time.
Oh yeah, forgot about that as well. I keep forgetting that's at the tail end. Boy. Oh
yeah. We're gonna lose Brad. It's over. His game's coming. Yeah, he's eating good.
I'm eating good. Cool. Awesome. Glad to hear Kingdom Come's shaping up pretty nicely.
Yep.
Very nice impressions from both of you. I like kind of having the both sides about it.
Yeah.
So that was really good. All right, boys. The only thing I've been playing I can talk about here is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So this was a Wii game made by Retro, who's done Metroid Prime games and stuff like that. They're doing Metroid Prime 4 right now. But yeah, this was a Wii game that came out in like 2010. I want to say it was, as the name implies, the return of Donkey Kong Country. The last one was on Super Nintendo, which was Donkey Kong Country 3. But yeah, this is the predecessor of Tropical Freeze. Now, Tropical Freeze, let me just read this actually for this write-in. This is from Derek Mozzarella. There we go. Good day, Sussy Summoners. Question for Brad, since he's playing the excellent Donkey Kong Country Returns. When will Mr. Kong and his series get the respect they deserve from gamers? Donkey Kong Country Returns, and especially Tropical Freeze, outclass almost every other modern 2D platformer on the market, including most 2D Mario games. Yet, there always seems to be little interest from gamers, and even from many people at LSM. Do you think the games are too hard, or is the Mario bias and nostalgia just too strong? Thank you for always crusading for Donkey Kong, and have a great week. Yes, I won't tolerate any Donkey Kong slander in this show. Right? I won't have it. This is my show, damn it. Donkey Kong Country games rule. Now, if you want to talk shit on Donkey Kong 64, have at it.
Come on, man. The 3D's got to come back. That's the way Donkey Kong need to come back, Matty.
It does need to come back. Donkey Kong is due, my friend, for 3D. Donkey Kong 64 sucks, though. I'm just going to say that.
God.
Putting that out
I got to
there.
go back because I got to see what everyone's talking about with not liking it. Like, I got to know because I love that game.
There is way too many collectibles, Matty.
Sure.
You're going to get burnt out. You're going to play for 2 hours and be like, oh, yeah, this isn't so bad. Hour 3 and 4 hits in, you're going to be so
you have
burned
to get
out.
them all to beat the game? Is that the idea?
To get like 100%, yeah.
Okay.
But I think you need a lot to get through the game, though, in general.
Okay.
It's too much. Like 5 characters, Matty. You got to swap different colored bananas for all of them.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I get it.
It's too much. You
Hey,
think
look,
you like
content. Content.
Oh,
is
it's
king.
content, I'll say. It's bloat.
Bloat. You said bloat.
It's bloat. But yeah, okay, anyways, back to Donkey Kong. It is the precursor to Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze, just heads up, also on Switch, better game. I would highly recommend that one over this game. Tropical Freeze is honestly one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played. I've played many throughout my life, so I highly recommend that game. This game, if you like Tropical Freeze and you want more, I would say, yeah, go for it. But it's not as good overall. You don't have as many as the Kongs to play as this time around. You only have Diddy with you, which is cool. Diddy's our boy, rolling around Diddy. He's got a little jetpack he can hover you with. That's all good stuff. But no Cranky Kong, no Dixie Kong, no helicopter cheap, stuff like that. Can't do it. No Funky Kong mode also. Sorry, out of luck there. But this is very much just classic Donkey Kong Country games, just elegant 2D platforming. Some good music. I think the music it's all very much a homage, I guess, to the older Donkey Kong games. It's not the same composer. It's not David Wise. It's Grant Kirkhope, I believe. He did a fine job, but it is very much, you remember these songs from Donkey Kong Country kind of thing. When Tropical Freeze comes in, it's like, all new jams, and they're all bangers. But everything here is still solid. Combat or movement feels really good. Moving around as Donkey Kong feels awesome. Rolling around, you feel that kind of power, but you're also graceful. Level design is good. Going through like the regions, there's like 8 worlds you go through. The first one's your jungle, then you got your temple area like that. Later on, stuff gets a little more crazy, like going to a factory world, and to progress through some of the levels, you got to find these like other buttons to make full progress. So things get really crazy really crazy. Like the beginning of the game, they ease you in nice. It's a nice pace. You're like, okay, I can get this. But the game just slowly ramps up as it goes on. And by the end, there's like a stage where there's platforms, like red and blue platforms, and there's switches on the walls. And every time you run into one of them, it switches the other color. So you're going to have to switch between these different buttons as you're doing over death pits and stuff like that. And stuff gets real crazy. You got guys trying to kill you while you're doing this. But it's all really fun. some really cool levels like that. They also have this funny thing in there. Like if you played the old Donkey Kong Country games, you remember the mine carts. They're back, of course. But they also have these kind of like rocket barrel things you ride on some of the stages. Now, if you guys have played this, they're very much like Flappy Bird. That same kind of feeling of like you got to tap it to get a little altitude and stuff like that and balance all that stuff. It's really fun. Stuff gets crazy with all that stuff as well. They're like a giant bat chasing you. Stuff's falling all over the place. It's crazy. All while trying to get the Kong collectibles, the KONG, throughout the stages. But what's really cool about that is every world has a secret stage you can unlock. And you get these by collecting the Kongs in every level. Okay. And man, these stages are tough. They are real tough. You're going to die a lot on these kind of things. There's like no checkpoints in them. All the stages have checkpoints. You know, you get to a certain spot halfway through. Maybe there's one or two through a stage. None here. You just got to deal with it, which I love because they're optional. And I love just the extra challenge because they are tough as hell. So it's fun if you want to get that extra challenge. Not required, though, to get through the game at all. But the game looks really good. Obviously, it's a Wii game, upscaled. For what it is, I think it looks pretty good. Some of it's a little crunchy, not like 10 out of 10, where I'm like, this is an amazing remaster, but it's a solid effort. And I'm really happy just to have it off the Wii. Because like any reason I don't have to go back to the Wii or the Wii U is a victory for me. I don't want to have to deal with that shit. Like, let's move on from that.
I feel you.
But I think I'm on world 7 out of 8 right now. I'm just having a delightful time. It's just really fun, man. It's just pure joy going through that world, rolling around as the boys, smacking some dudes, hitting the ground, all that fun Donkey Kong stuff, getting some bananas. It's all good. Some fun boss fights too. Some of them are kind of challenging though, so heads up. But Donkey Kong is very much like, if you like Mario platformers, you know, everyone knows Mario, the GOAT, okay? Mario games are pretty chill to get through for the most part. There are some difficult stages. If you put Mario difficulty, let's say it's a 6 or something like that, I would say this is like a 7, 7.5, or an 8, kind of around there. Okay. So it is a little more advanced in that sense, but super fun. Also, if you're having trouble with some things, like you have 2 hits. So like, let's say you're playing as Donkey Kong, you have 2 hearts. You can hit twice. It's not like the old games where you hit once and you're out. But if you get Diddy with you, you get him out of the barrel, you'll have 4 hearts like that. So you can take some extra hits. Some of the boss fights are very long though. They could take a little bit, but there is a shop you can go to, Cranky Shop, to buy some items to give you like an extra heart in this fight and stuff like that. Or you need some more health or more 1-ups and stuff like that. So there is an incentive to, or there is some stuff to spend money on. So they can get you out of a tight jam if you need it. So there's all that kind of stuff. And you can also buy keys at every shop to open up an extra level in each world. So if you want more, you can do all that kind of stuff. But overall, solid game, good fun. Not as good as Tropical Freeze. So if you haven't played Tropical Freeze, I'd recommend that first.
So you're only going to play one. Freeze would be the GOAT.
Tropical Freeze is the GOAT.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Okay. In my opinion, it's the best Donkey Kong game, country game, or Donkey Kong game, period. I know people like Donkey Kong Country 2 on SNES, which I love as well. But Tropical Freeze is the GOAT. I'm just going to say that here.
I like that talk. That's what I'm talking about. I don't have much to add to this because it's funny, though. Obviously, I'm not a big platform guy, but I will give Nintendo flowers. I remember Super NES, and I remember seeing that game for the first time. And it was mind-blowing. Yeah. The level of fidelity, that was a significant 2D platform jump in gaming. And I'm like, yo, what is this thing looks almost 3D. It was like it was popping off the screen. I remember staring at it at like a game store when Super Nintendo debuted. I was just like, wow. I was like, damn, Genesis ain't got nothing to compare with that. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, that's what I knew Super Nintendo was coming. I was like, yo, and I never forget that was a transformative game, I would say. And then the fact that they had, 3D scaling and a lot of that stuff too. But I really love that Super Nintendo console. That was a great console, man. It really was. Nintendo. It's one of my favorites. I have to say, like that made me cheat on Sega for. I was like, hey, look, man, they got that. What was it? Mode 7.
Yes.
It was Pilot Wings and F-Zero and all. I was like, yo, that's the future gaming to me right there. I ain't gonna hold it. And the music chip. Oh my god, like the sound chip for the Super Nintendo was amazing. We came from those crunchy sounds.
Yeah, the Genesis sound chip can work in some instances really well, I think.
Right.
It can. Like Streets of Rage and all that kind of stuff, Sonic, all sounds really good. But when you had ports of like a Sega one and a Super Nintendo one, it's like, this is like fart box sound chip kind of thing going on right there.
That, relax. You ain't gotta remind me that shit.
Hey, I had a
my old
Sega as well.
fanboy is coming back. I used to lose these battles.
I was lucky and I had both at the time, so that was really sick.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have to choose, but I was always like, I'll get the Super Nintendo version. Usually. Sometimes Sega was ahead though. I'll give him that.
Bro Cog, we the only one I think I had on you was we had Mortal Kombat with the blood.
Yes, that's true.
I was like, yours look better, but you got sweat and we got fatalities. Yeah.
Yeah. I had Street Fighter 2 on Genesis, Cog.
Oh.
Man, it sucked. The 3 buttons and like you had to push start to like swap between the heavy, the medium, and it was so bad.
Where we got y'all, the fan would continue our fanboy war. Where we got y'all was the sports games, though.
Yes,
like
the sports games were great.
NBA, the Maddens, they ran better. That blast processor, that's what we got to pop off. If you were a sports guy, the Genesis versions were always better.
Yeah. Shout out to Aladdin on Genesis too.
Ooh, yeah, good one.
Loved that game.
Very good. But yeah, I want to give Donkey Kong Country its proper flowers. That definitely made me scared in my boots so I was like, oh my God, there's nothing we have for that.
Donkey Kong putting the fear of God in childhood, Cog, is a crazy
Bro.
Yeah. His days are numbered.
Yeah,
Hedgehog's running. Yeah. Oh yeah. What did you have? You had Vector Man, I guess.
Yeah, we had Vector Man. We had nothing for Donkey Kong Country. We were in trouble.
I'm curious for both of you though. Any of you have history of Donkey Kong, or is it kind of like what Derek was saying, where you're just kind of like, never really gave it the time of day?
Brad, you wouldn't like to hear it. Why don't we leave it there?
Okay. All right.
Oh no, slam the inbound.
He was talking up Donkey Kong 64 to a little bit. He was trying to defend it.
I can understand if I'm stepping into this battle where this is going to go, because I would talk up 64 and I would talk down another Donkey Kong game.
Which one, though? Which one do you not like? It's fine.
Might be your favorite.
Tropical Freeze you don't like? Damn, Matty.
Matty the contrarian.
Yeah, I know, right? I do remember playing that on my Wii because it got like stupid good reviews, and I was not my Wii, sorry, my Switch.
Wii U. It was
I got
on Switch
the port, and so I like people were like, this game's fucking incredible, and so I play. I remember like raging. I remember like Laylee was sitting next to me. I was playing. I was like, this fucking stupid ass game. Like it pissed me off so much. Maybe I would grapple better with Donkey Kong knowing what to expect now. But going from 64, where I was like, this is the way Donkey Kong should be. I'm like, all right, I'll play one of your 2D games. To not enjoying it really at all. I was just like, oh great, there goes $60.
Damn, dude.
That's why I was trying to keep quiet, but you yanked me into it.
That's okay. I had to bring it up. It's okay.
I know the comment section too well. I was like, oh, here we go.
You've grown a lot, though, Matty. I feel like you could do it if you go back ever. I feel like you'd be in a different mindset.
Yeah,
you've evolved.
Maybe. I don't know, man. My dream for Nintendo is to take the Mario Odyssey team and put them on Donkey Kong, or make a new Mario game with Donkey Kong from the Odyssey team. Like, I just show people what they forgot when 64 came out, when it was not these YouTube retrospectives that break down, as Brad eloquently put it, the collectible problem. Let's go back to, when did the game come out? Like 90 something, 2000 something. Let's go back to that time. Donkey Kong 64 was a fucking force, man. It was a force. Hey. That game has great atmosphere too. Can we put some respect on Donkey Kong 64's atmosphere?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Just wandering the island.
Coconut gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Matty, I was there day one.
That put hair on my chest.
I was there. So I remember. Yeah. I'm not going to tolerate this revisionist history, though. I was there from day one, coming off Banjo-Kazooie, and this is what you guys give me. This is your platformer.
Oh, so you didn't like it from day one.
This is your kid?
I coped, Matty.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I was like, Slowly, though. Further and further and further, beat the game. And I was like, man, I don't want to play this anymore. I've had enough. That's enough.
Damn it. I love it. I love the different perspectives on this. This is hilarious.
I'm definitely way less educated, to be clear. So
no, that's okay. You like what you like. Doesn't matter.
But we're talking about my opinion I held as like a kid. I don't know. I was playing with Laylee she was set up here playing the 64 like 2 months ago, and I was playing a little 64. Where I was like, maybe Brad was right in a little bit that I played for like an hour. I was like, yeah, it still rocks.
Yeah, it rocks for a couple hours.
Yeah,
and when you keep going, the honeymoon's over.
I had a friend who like in the last year just like 100%ed it, and he was like talking it up so much. It was crazy.
What a freak!
I know. Yeah, he
Tell
was
your
like,
friend to
he's like,
relax.
yeah, I just got a craving to like 100% 64. I was like 60. Like I had to check him because I remember like the videos going around. I was like 64, like the one that has like 1 million collectibles. Like, yeah, wasn't too bad. I was like, dude, you're a gaming god. Then I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Hey, nostalgia is a powerful tool.
Yeah. Don't I know it?
So you were kind of talking about this, Matty. This is from Daniel Ross. Hey, gamers. Brad, how are you enjoying Donkey Kong or your return to Donkey Kong Country? And what would your dream future DK game look like? Would it be a new entry in the Country series or a return of the King in 3D? Matty, I'm 100% with you. I think we need to bring that ape to 3D. Yeah. Mario Odyssey team. Give that Kong the respect Mario Donkey Kong game, something like that. I don't know. But he deserves his time to shine in 3D. Let the Kong rise. You know, he's got his own part in like amusement park thing now in Japan. They have a Donkey Kong land now.
Really?
So, yeah. In the Mario, there's the Mario land. Now there's Donkey Kong land.
It's separate. They're not. They like it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be the plan is for the Lords to be in Tokyo this year.
Yeah.
We have to figure this out.
Yeah. Oh, you can get a Donkey Kong hot dog there, Cog. A Donkey Dong hot dog.
Donkey Dong. I can't.
It actually looks pretty good.
And the Donkey Dong. I'm done.
You get the Kong Dong, bro.
Yeah, the Kong Dong. Yeah. It looks pretty good, actually. Though. Yeah, that's right.
Throw coat from the Kong
Dong. Savagery.
Have we seen a 3D platformer from the Odyssey team since Odyssey? Because I think Odyssey might be like one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played.
Know.
Like nothing's hit quite like it since.
Maybe the Bowser's Fury part in 3D World. I'm not sure. That's really good, but you have to buy 3D World, which is a good game, but still, it's a lot to ask. Cog, I'm curious though, man. Someone on the sidelines of Donkey Kong, what do you think it would take for you to give it a chance?
I think your best shot, switch to launch lineup. I want to be in that very... I'm in the acquisition phase. I want to try everything, what the system has to offer. That's your best shot because there's not a lot of games out, and I want to see what the system can do. So let's just say you had a new entry ready to go, and I'm like, all right, you know what, Mario Kart, I need a palette cleanse. I need to see what else the system can do. That's your shot. Once my games come out for the platform, you're done. Like, there's no going to you, there's no checking you out. So yeah, I am a launch lineup kid. I've always been. That's when you get me to try, genres I normally don't give a shit. I'm not the big platform guy anymore. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. Yeah. I'm at peace with it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. But yeah, that's probably your best. But let's say it looks good. They really, using the tech nice. And I'm like, all right. Got a little couple money to spend. It's only like, let's say it's only like 6 titles at launch or whatever. All right, I'll pick you up. That's when you get me.
Okay. All right. Take note, Nintendo.
Yes.
You want to get Kong in there. Get that Donkey Kong out early.
There you go. Savage.
All right, boys. It's time for Sort It Out. On this segment, we just talk about something that's bothering us in the game industry. And boy, there's some stuff bothering us. Yeah. I can already feel it.
I got a problem for sure.
Oh, yeah. We all got problems. For sure. We all might have the same problem. I'm not quite sure yet. We all might be really
have the same one.
This might be a unity. Yeah, for sure.
This might be a unanimous one. But Cog, let's hear it from you. What do you got?
Mine's is just like, man, sort it out, PlayStation.
Same for me.
Sort it out, man.
Yes, sir.
Listening to, obviously the recent Yoshida interview and, the live service push, which he seemed to be resistant against. And he even said, hey, this might be the reason why I was let go. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he said it jokingly, but it seemed real. And I was just like, man. And, look, as a person, what's crazy, I'm the live service guy, but I was like, 12 though?
Yeah.
We really need 12. Like, and it just goes to show how much, damage it's done. And the sad part for me, that's why I say really sort it out, is now we got to wait for whatever the hell, how long it's going to take, Blue Point and all these other studios that now you cancel. That's literally a reset button. And then development starts again. And like I said, I've been killed on LSM for saying I haven't been really a fan of PS5. Honestly, outside
The
of the
lineup
beginning,
they've had?
yeah, I haven't, and it's this is kind of like my confirmation bias a little bit in the sense of like, you know, I miss the old Sony. I miss the Yoshida, you know what I'm saying, Sony. Like I
This
fell
definitely
in love
moved
with
the needle in your favor for sure.
Yeah, you know, and now the truth, you know, is getting out there. We're getting more bits and pieces of the puzzle of what's going on and why they've been quiet. Now we see it. It's just, you know, too many projects being canceled. So Sony, please sort out PlayStation Studios. I don't mind that you are getting back to conventional, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to like, you know, making your course correcting, but it should have never got to where it's at, is what I'm saying. This is mismanagement on the worst level. So yeah, I got to get them to sort it out on PlayStation Studios.
Yeah. Matty, let's hear from you.
I'm in the same boat. I immediately had this ready for my sorted out because I think that the idea that you take a remake team that has proven themselves with like 2 excellent remakes that someone consider like some of the best ever, right? Like you have Demon Souls, Shadow of the Colossus, right? Very faithful, giving them the glow-ups in the right area. And it's just like bringing a classic to the modern audience. To take them and say, you're going to make a live service game, I think is the most fucking insane thing we might have heard this generation yet. Because I'm just like, that is such a bad use of the talent that you've hired. Like they are good at a particular thing and you are telling them to do something else. Then you throw God of War in the mix, which I love God of War. That is the worst blending of ideas though I've heard. Remake studio, live service, God of War. I don't care if anyone who's listening to this show bleeds fucking blue, man. What in the fuck is that? That is the worst assembly of talent and ideas in one that I have heard this generation. We just got Concord. I'm sorry. At least Concord had like a idea where the live service would play into the actual game itself. For God's sakes, bro, God of War and live service cannot live together, clearly, which is why I got canceled. But the problem that I have is that now that you've done this to this team, and they've been working on this for how many years? 4? Now you have them spinning up a new game. We're not going to see them till almost like 2030, dude, because game development cycles and how long it takes. Now, I imagine most AAA teams have like projects in parallel, so that might be extreme. But you have wasted so much time, resources, talent on something that never should have got the green light ever. And I don't think that's hyperbole to say. Same thing with Ben, man. I feel terrible for Ben. Like you come off of Days Gone, which is for some reason, I'm not even a huge Days Gone fan to be clear, but is for some reason treated as the black sheep because of its launch, which PlayStation did themselves by sending out review codes too early, found its audience, found its success. Like it still managed to crawl its way there. And you put them on a live service game too? I don't know. I'm surprised Ben's still kicking around, frankly. I want them to stay around, but PlayStation, I'm with Cog on it. Like me and Cog are aligned, and I know it's, the Xbox guys are aligned. We're not saying Xbox is having a great
damn Xbox guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's what typically happens. People come out and they're like, what does that mean for Xbox? I'm like, they're having a worse gen, bro. That's what I would say. But PlayStation is having an awful generation in the terms of their vision. They've released great games, but their vision at the start of this generation with Jim Ryan was, we are going to get into live service. We are committing a ton of resources. They canceled probably the one that would have been good in Naughty Dog. Like, I feel if you're going to be commenting about anything, it's going to be Naughty Dog and Factions, because they've done it before. So you cancel that. You let Bungie have a seat at that table for God knows what fucking reason. They run their live service business into the ground. You have Concord, and then these 2 projects are greenlit. Tell me how it's a success. Tell me how that initiative is a success. It's not. Sort it the fuck out. It's terrible, dude. Terrible.
Yeah,
I love PlayStation, man, but these are boneheaded decisions. Boneheaded.
They're so bad. Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's like, how are some of these people in these roles making these calls? Like, how did they get there? How did you guys get there? Like, what are you doing there?
Let's have a fun thought exercise, right?
Yeah.
Pitch me on a God of War live service game. What are you fucking doing? I can't even imagine that video game.
In this game, you can play as a Spartan, or you can be King Neptune if you want. And maybe Hercules and like fight in arena against other people.
Like you play as a bunch of gods, like fucking Smite. Like, okay.
Go grind gear.
Yeah, because you can't.
Someone said it was like reminded them of Godfall, and I was like,
oh no.
Guys. What are you doing, man?
I just feel so bad for the talent working on it, man.
Yeah,
like maybe they're just happy to have a job and doing their thing, especially in today's economy. Like, I get all of that, but like on a creative level, like it's gotta be so fucking draining to be like, this is not what we should be doing, but we have to do it anyway because it's been mandated, and it's so obviously like this is one of the few times where everyone came together, was like, I'm glad that got canceled. We don't want anyone to lose jobs, but I'm glad that a live service God of War game never saw the light of day. It should have never existed in the first place. Colossal waste of time. If you're going to give the remake studio anything God of War, let them remake the first one. Like, start with the PS2 trilogy. I don't know. I get that's kind of redundant with how God of War just recently got like a soft reboot, if you will. But I don't know. I think that would at least be, if you're going to hand them that and God of War assets, that's what I would tell them to make. Certainly there's a lot of other PlayStation IP they could dig into as well.
Yeah. Or just let them make a brand new game or something like that. Yeah. That's not a live service game. Yeah. I don't know. Let them do a new fucking Sly Cooper game or something.
Oh, dude. Stop. Oh, man.
You got the heartstrings now.
I avoided that in my conversation about it. I was just like, Bloodborne was right there, man. Like, it really was.
Yeah.
If you're giving
that was interesting, though.
He said,
Yoshida, he was talking about that, how he suspects it doesn't happen yet because Miyazaki is very close to that game. And I don't think he wants someone else working on it.
I was thinking about you on that one.
I think you should respect the developer's wishes. Like, that's his baby kind of thing like that. But at the same time, it's like, why can't you just give us a port, man? Like, I don't need a remake. If you do remake, cool. But like, I'd be fine with just a port of the game. Put it on PC, put it on PS5 or whatever, up the resolution, up the frame rate. We're good to go. That's all I need. I don't need a remake, but I'd be happy if they did that. You could, come on, Miyazaki. You can let that happen. You did Dark Souls remastered. Let's go. Yeah, let's get that going, guys.
Yeah, very interesting that Yoshida said on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you guys though. I don't know what the fuck Sony's doing. I don't know who's making these calls. Like, who is in charge of all this stuff, making these stupid decisions? It's like what you guys say, stepping on the rakes. It's just nonstop L's on their part. Like, I'm happy these games got canceled, like you guys are saying, because I cannot imagine these games coming out. Everyone's just like, what is this?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? It's like, cut your losses. At least that's the saving grace about Concord.
Yes.
Bad game, horrible game. No one gives a shit about it. Dead. But that woke Sony up in a lot of ways. It set a lot of alarms off in that company. So now they're just axing stuff, which is probably the right call. I don't know what's going to happen to Fair Games. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
They've been working on that for a while.
Yeah.
So
I just, I know, because for example, we were talking about Nintendo at the top of the show, right? Like, status quo bores people, but at the same time, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like, PlayStation had the blueprint to just continue dominance into this generation. And not that they haven't released, they had Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok. Like, I don't want people to think I'm like confusing it where Helldivers 2. Like, they've had great successes this generation, but why after such a dominant foot on the throat moment would you decide like we're going to pivot is beyond me. I just think if they figured out the economics of their games a little bit better, they wouldn't have had to pivot so deeply into live service. It's frustrating because again, I like Blue Point is the one that I feel the worst for because I'm just like not the big favorites, but I'm like they make great remakes in an era where remakes are highly needed and appreciated by all fans, and you take them off of the thing that is like a great business practice. Like you could have them remake any of your IP, and especially with how you've handled your remaster process, it doesn't have to be something deep in the well. Like, well, that's a little high risk. Like you could go back to something that's 5 years old based on what PlayStation's doing and be like, let's do this. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah.
Such a shame, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real bummer. Yeah. It bums me out. And Sony's lucky. They shot themselves in the foot right now, but it's like this gen Xbox is like blown their leg off kind of thing like that. So they are not treading water just because Xbox is doing worse in some regards right now. So they've lucked out big time. And they've made smart third-party acquisition or like deals, which is really smart for them. Yeah. But yes, dude, Sony, stop this. Cease this nonsense about live service. I don't care if you had like 1 or 2, but 12 was your plan or 10. You're out of your mind, Jim Ryan. I'm glad you're gone.
Yeah.
Stay gone. Don't come back. Don't come back, dude. All right, this is from Nat Patterson. Sort it out, Sony. I mean, come on. This is just an embarrassment at this stage. The smooth brain chase of the live service bag has left egg on your face time and time again. It feels like the majority of this generation has been wasted pursuing something that won't materialize. And the players are the ones lose out the most with no new first-party games to play. Feels like Jim Ryan's legacy is being eroded out from under him, and I'm here for it. Okay. I will push back and just saying, Matty, to bring this up, there is still some good first-party stuff. They've been doing a lot of dumb shit with live service, of course. We just had Astrobot, baby. Game of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
Got Ghost of Yote apparently coming out this year. Intergalactic. There's stuff, but not as much as there should be.
Right.
And they should be dragged for it.
They've made some great third-party decisions as well. Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wukong, technically, like they have on their own platform. There's a lot of good deals.
That Rebirth,
Rebirth, of course. I forgot that one. So it's not a failure of a generation in the terms of like their release, their output, their console sales, but I do think they could be on a whole other level if they were not trying this stupid ass experiment that never should happen in the first place. And it just comes down to bad leadership. Certainly as Xbox fans, we know.
Bad leadership. Bad management, bad leadership. Yeah, that's a lot of game dev problems, it seems like.
Yeah.
A lot of those big budgets is because of stuff like that. Man, that Bungie buy is looking worse and worse every time I think I it.
Like, would they be gone if they weren't under PlayStation, though, right? Like, that's the thing
that's a good question.
Puzzle about.
Maybe they might have got bought by like Tencent or something like that. Or NetEase.
True.
Even Microsoft was worried when in the document said burn rate was too high. They were like, we think they inflated a very inflated view of themselves, and it turned out to be right.
Yeah. All right, this is from Javin Mather. Sorted out Blizzard. Seeing the blowout success of Marvel Rivals reminds me of some of the ways Blizzard has fallen. Overwatch, while still popular to some extent, has largely become more mangled over the past couple of years. And while it did see some recovery, Diablo 4 has had issues not long out the gate in 2023 due to egregious issues with some patches and updates. What does Blizzard need to do to earn back some significant goodwill from the consumers that'll stick? Well, they're going to need years and years and years of goodwill.
Yeah.
Big wins all around. I think patching Warcraft Reforged, and doing Warcraft like 2 remastered and 1, I think that was like a good step for me as someone like that. From Warcraft Reforged 3, when it came out, was a shit show, a disaster.
Yeah.
So they did patch it. I haven't played that new version yet, but I've heard decent things about, so that's good. That's like a nice little win right there. Not nearly enough, though. You got a long way to go, Blizzard, because like I play Overwatch all the time and I still think it's really fun, but you can't deny the fact that Marvel Rivals is just killing it. Not even in player count, but perception from the audience and like dominating the conversation.
Yeah.
It's like not even close right now. Marvel Rivals reminds me of Overwatch 1 when it came out.
Yeah.
And just like that zeitgeist kind of moment going on.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you guys fucked up. You guys blew it. So you're going to have to live with that now.
Yeah.
But they got, I don't know, like you guys know I love Blizzard a lot. I really like that company. I want them to do well, but I'm very critical of that company because they have made many mistakes. But they got, I don't know, man. They need a huge one. They got to get something out that's crazy. Like Diablo 4, good game, but it's like PoE 2 is going to dominate it.
They're going through
the conversation.
They're going through, in my opinion, I look at it from like the Bethesda angle. Like Bethesda was the king of the mountain for a while, and then just they got lapped by a ton of people, right? And it's hard to watch as like a company that you loved so much growing up is just not. They're like a shell of themselves. And I think Blizzard watching like Marvel Rivals take over Overwatch or watching PoE 2 take over Diablo space, like gamers are smart enough now where like brand loyalty does not exist. It's not about that image on the box anymore. It's just about like the quality of the product, man. And it's easier nowadays to find options than there was back then. Like I always say, you know, when you pick up like a box art and you see like the developer name on the front, I think the only company that still gives me that feeling of like, this is probably good shit is Atlas. Like when I see Atlas's stamp on there, I feel like they're very selective publishers. So when I see like 13 Sentinels or something like that, I'm like, oh, like this, I'm sure this is great. You know, even to like older PS2 games, I'm like, but that those days are gone. And so these, I think a lot of these brands lean on their fan bases, which are dwindling, and that competitors are just rising up. And like we're in an age of like iteration right now with game development, where it's not like a bunch of new ideas are being put forward. It's like who can do the best at an existing idea. And like Overwatch was a new fun idea back in like 2016, and Marvel Rivals, you know, shows up all this time later. And I mean, it's kind of a tough combination to beat when it's succeeding, right? Like how do you overcome, if you're Blizzard, how do you overcome like years of superhero adoration? Like, how do you overcome that? Because like the characters are what brought people into to Overwatch, right? But now you have like a built-in like, oh, I love Spider-Man. Oh, I love Doctor Strange. I love Captain America. Like in a post MCU Endgame era,
Tough.
That's like a hard mountain to climb back out of.
Yeah, it is.
Especially their release cadence, like 2 heroes already.
Already, yeah.
2 more coming in a couple of weeks. Like, that's tough, man. I don't know how you beat it. I'm not trying to be a doomer, but I don't know how you beat that. That's tough.
Yeah, it is a hard thing to climb.
It's a hard one. Then just think about the development of a brand new character. If you're Overwatch, right? How much the resources that takes,
right.
To get that in. When you have these kind of like preset, pop culture, heroes that you could just throw in. Marvel Robbins could just throw in. It's tough. It's a good question. I don't know what they do. And obviously, you're the Overwatch guy, Brad. In terms of part 1, the consensus I got is that a lot of people felt like 2 wasn't really needed. Like they had the formula right there.
Yeah, 2 didn't justify itself. Mainly because they didn't stick to what they promised. Like all the single player stuff and all that, which like justified the 2, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of felt like, what are we doing here, guys? You didn't give us what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, for me, I'm excited for them. Apparently, they're working on. They have a new IP, I think, right? They're working on Blizzard, from my understanding. I'm curious about that. Yeah, I think Jez had reported that they were working on a new IP.
I thought about the survival one that got canceled, right?
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I'm not a WoW guy, but I'm very curious how WoW's doing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm assuming it's still
going.
Oh, it's still going? Okay.
It's still going. I don't know how, from a let's, for example, from like Twitch, WoW's really big in the classic era. Classic WoW's big. I don't see a lot of people talking about retail WoW, which is like modern WoW.
Gotcha.
It's successful enough to continue right now, but it doesn't have that excitement. And to be fair, the game is like 20 years old, over almost 21 years old. So it's like
buying that from Walmart.
Yeah, how long can you keep interest on a game that long? Like, I don't know. It's like, for me, I've been like, you guys should have made WoW 2 like 10 years ago or something like that.
I'm surprised by that.
You guys need to like make a huge leap or something like that. Mm-hmm. I need something new and exciting from them, because Blizzard, man, they were so innovative at the time. Of course, they were like, you saw Blizzard as like top tier no matter what. They need something new and exciting. Like Overwatch was that, and it was a great moment in time, but it's like, we can't do that every 15 years or so like that. You kind of need more Blizzard. So hopefully, because I love you, Blizzard.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully you guys can improve. We'll see. How long has it been since they've been on it under Xbox? Has it been a year yet?
Yeah.
About a year, like 18 months, something like that. Yeah, about a year.
Because I saw, I actually shouldn't speak so assuredly, because I remember there was a tweet that was like a couple of years ago, like when they announced the intent to acquire them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember when exactly it was announced that they did acquire them. I think that was November.
Yeah, sounds about right, man.
Yeah.
October, November.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And like, I feel for like some of these Blizzard teams and all game devs, because sometimes they want to do stuff for their game, they just don't have the resources. So I don't know what the scenario is for all these kind of things. I'm sure the Overwatch team would like to do more, but you work with what you got, kind of thing like that. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Hopefully things get better though. Likewise. All right, this is from Adam Belgarby. Hey, throat coat goats. Sorted out to the misused concept of release dates. It says it in the fucking words. Release date. The date of release. Why aren't publishers just using expected release date or target release date terminology instead? As it is currently, they're just straight up lying and hoping for the slight chance that they're not. I fully support delays, and realizing an unfinished game is never the right choice. But publishers and devs have to start using the words expected and target before the release date. I know that they're implied, but they shouldn't be. Studios having release dates for fully finished products are not the same studios using the release date as internal deadlines. Sorry for my senile rambling. I guess you can get more specific with that. He was right though, that it's just kind of implied, and I think most people realize that. But
yeah,
if you want to get very specific, I suppose you could say target release date. I mean, every now and then you see something that's like targeting winter or something like that, targeting this state. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think it's necessary to write target or anything like that, or expected release date?
I think window would be the
window
word that they should use. Just give like a rough kind of like quarter or season as sort of when it may come out. I think that works a little bit better. My guess is the reason they do hard dates is publisher pressure, of course, or maybe it's a way where they can. I feel like there's some level of internal politics, if I were to wager a guess, like a level of like, we're going to set this date. We know we're not going to hit it. Everyone knows we're not going to hit it. Because how many stories have we read from like Schreier saying that? Like they set the date and the team knew they wouldn't hit it. And then you fight for that delay. Like, hey, we're not going to do this, like otherwise the game's going to be broken. So maybe there's some sort of internal appeasement of like, you announce the date, you get pre-orders, gauge interest. And then from there, it's like we delay or we don't. It could be that. But I think from a consumer point of view, window's good because that way you're kind of non-committal and like, hey, we might be as early as September or as late as December. And if it slips, it slips. And that way the consumer's not really caught off guard by it. But that'd be my perception of it. Some sort of internal strife likely causes that.
Yeah. No, it's tough, man. It's tough. I do empathize because I agree that there must be internal, pressure from the publisher. Hey, need that out quarter, blah, 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 kind of thing. And then, they're up against it. They know maybe realistically they might not be able to hit it. But then, I do feel like companies get lambasted even when they put the year. I remember when, was it? I think it was Ragnarok or it was like, they were coming out the next year when they first saw the announced trailer or something, and it didn't come out that year. They came out after that. People were like flipping out and kind of thing. So it's like, is it kind of damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm with Adam in the sense that, look, at the end of the day, I do support the delay, like give the game the best, chance to win. So I don't freak out too much. But we also got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is that it's so many damn games and it's so competitive. And you've got these behemoths running around like GTA and stuff like that. So dudes be like, yo, I'm not putting my album out until I know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. It's tough for the gamer. We get cheated because we're like, oh man, we're thinking about, when the lineup is going to come out. You get excited, especially with a title you've really been waiting for. You get really excited. You get bummed when you're like, you don't know what's going on. But it's tough, man. It's tough in this climate. It's literally like avoiding landmines, and you try to put the best release date that you can to succeed. So yeah, I don't necessarily have a proper solution for it. It's just like you try to be as transparent as possible, but I don't get mad anymore. My new thing is like, all right, when you know what my new thing is? When I see, for the most part, my strategy with this works. When I see your pre-order is up, for the most part, I feel, all right, now you're coming out. Because a lot of times when I don't see that pre-order, I'm like, I ain't believing you. But there's only two exceptions where I remember saying, like, Assassin's Creed was one. But
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's recency bias. I know Assassin's Creed, they did put their pre-order, they still delayed. But for the most part, I would say my percentile is about 90% usually with that.
Sure.
That's how I try to gauge it, if it's coming out or not.
Yeah, that's an interesting metric to think about. Cool. All right, boys, time for the exact opposite. Keep it up. Stuff we're pleased with in the game industry. Cog, is there anything that's pleasing you right now?
Yeah, more of a generalization. I was reading this report from, I believe the gentleman's name, Matthew Bell, kind of like the state of the industry. I sent it to Matty. I sent it to you, Brad, too. It's really informative. I sent it to Colin as well. Really informative stuff of how things are trending and, where gaming is going and stuff like that from a multi, console platform perspective. Keep it up, smaller games. I'm going to be on this trend, man. Keep it up, man. Like, I just love, Matty knows I've been waxing poetic about 11-bit Studios game, The Alters and stuff like that. I'm looking at playing. I'm hearing South of Midnight. I don't know for sure, but maybe it's in that a smaller, like maybe 10 hour, 12. I'm in that pocket right now, man. Like, look, I get it. I love my metaphors, but even Matty was like, bro, they could end this at the 80-hour mark if they really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, and I get it. It's just this whole games are so expensive and you want to give perceived value for all of this work. I get it. And engagement. But, bro, you can wrap these stories up and send a nice, concise, 12, even 15-hour game and be satisfied. And it's okay. And I think what we're seeing is the course correction, right? Even with the Sony stuff, like, we saw with the Insomniac leaks, these games are just too expensive. hey, how about we split? I think one of the rumors was like, hey, we split up the next Spider-Man into 2 parts and, make them cheap. Like, I like that. Like, we don't have to have everything open world a zillion hours all the time. So that's just me selfishly. I'm old. I like to, play, smaller games sometimes. I think they could both exist, but I think right now we're at a point where it's just the games are way too expensive and they're way too big and they're dominating, a lot of people's time, and people just can't make these decisions. That you have to block something out. There's no way you're going to be able to commit to look at February alone. We were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
No way. Like Monster Hunter at the time. Yakuza now looking after that Like a Dragon Direct. Everybody's like, yo, that looked like a can't miss, right? So you got that, Avowed, KCD. Like, it's just way too many big games. I just wish there's a couple of smaller palette clips. So that's mine.
Yeah. Nice. What about you, Matty?
Mine is for game developers making YouTube videos. There's a lot of great resources out there, and I think people don't pay enough attention to it, because at times I've always bitched that like we need more education in the gaming space, but it's there, it's ready, it's free, it's available. Everything from GDC panels hosted by some of your favorite creators to like their own YouTube channels. I'll shout out Tim Kaine. Josh Sawyer has been uploading a little bit more lately, and I love, of course, hearing what he's got to say. Like, these are like the most brilliant minds we have in like RPG development, just offering up advice for free on how the sauce is made for their games, like getting into the weeds of like contract work. Like Josh Sawyer broke down like the patch process and like how you have to sometimes sign new contract agreements to patch your game because it's like agreeing to additional funding and support for it. It gets into the business aspect that so many people clearly are in the dark on. And at first I was like, well, we need to hear more from the developers. And I still think more should step out, but there are a lot who are doing that. Mark Dara runs his own YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
Plenty of game developers are out there talking. You shouted out one, Cog, that I watched, the forgetting the gentleman's name, the composer.
Olivier Devier.
Awesome channel there, getting into music design and video games, like how he did what he did. Every avenue of Chris Avalon's got a ton of interviews as well. Like every avenue from some of the best minds this industry has had or has is making content right now and sharing their journey with people. And I encourage the audience to engage with that sort of stuff because it's so formative, I think, in how you'll approach games that come out. It'll make you appreciate things you never appreciated before. It'll let you get into the thought process that goes into even the smallest aspects of the game. Like even sometimes the amount of thought that goes in so you don't think about a thing. The conversations that happen. Tim Kaine is definitely, I think, the best of all of this because he'll just tell stories every time. It'll be like, here's the topic. Here's the comment I got it from. Here's the story on like how I experienced this thing. Here are my thoughts on it. And they're like quick bite-sized videos. Like I have like a Bluetooth speaker for my shower now. So I'll literally just like flip on his channel, put on one of his videos, and while I'm washing up, I just listen to
I do this. Me and you are too. This is eerie. I literally do the same thing. I thought I was weird as hell.
That's supposed to be weird. No,
that's what I do. So we do, bro. I do the same thing. I literally have my like what you gonna go on the phone, and I'll have a podcast or something go while I'm showering, and I'm catching up.
That's how I always catch up, bro. The shower time. Like I'm in there for a good half hour, like just grooming up and everything. So like it's just boom. Good to go. And so, yeah, that, especially the GDC panels, because like, look, Josh Sawyer has a great GDC panel about, I think it's Pillars of Eternity 2. And it's dissecting a game that I don't want to speak too brashly for him, but as like a financial level and sort of the lack of appeal, even though it's a great game, why did it fail? So watching a very talented guy have the confidence to come out there and like deconstruct what he perceives as his own missteps and what they were is fascinating. And these are all just out there for free for you to listen to. I actually talked to my game dev team. I was just like, we should be just absorbing this shit. So we've been like sharing videos we've been watching and, you know, because I've been doing it for like a couple of years now, but I realized I was like, this is such a, I feel like not enough people are like, this is such just like a little gem found on YouTube, but it should be on the level of like these people should be bigger than me. Like they're providing the real value, the real insight, like the real hands-on, like here's how it went. Here's how I did it. And the fact that they're like these smaller channels, like it bums me out. So they come out and they just offer answers to questions audiences are writing in about. Like I think Josh Sawyer gets his from Tumblr and Tim Kaine literally reads his comment section and just plucks it out. And it's just like, this is what the user wrote. Here's my answer. And they're really, really great conversations. So I just want to say, keep it up to those who are, especially in today's game development climate, where like people are very antagonistic and angry. Especially, I think it's very easy for developers and understandable for them to want to kind of shelter themselves, go into hiding. Right. Like, I don't get paid to do this. To have the passion to go out there and to educate people about something that they really strongly believe in is great. And so I just want to give them some love. It's really like my favorite type of content to consume nowadays. I really, really enjoy it. And I would love for some people listening to the show, just give it a look. So, again, these are great podcasty style videos. You don't have to really, they're not like my videos, for example, where like a retro rebound where like, I hope you're watching it because we're showing shit as we're talking about it. Like, it's just a vlog and they're just talking and like, here's how we do this. Here's how we do that. Like, I think Josh Sawyer has like a hour-long stream on his channel of just breaking down armor design in video games, like on the visual level and like the stats that factor into it. And like the amount of thought that just goes into this stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. So just wanted to give them some love. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Super dope.
Yeah. Very cool. I just want to keep it up to Rebel Wolves. So they're a newer developer with a lot of like members from CD Projekt Red, people that worked on The Witcher 3 and like Cyberpunk. They have a new game coming out, published by Bandai, called The Blood of the Dawnwalker. So a trailer came out for this recently.
Looks good.
And it looks like a mix of like vampires and The Witcher, essentially. Yeah. Very cool cinematic trailer. That's all we've seen so far. You get a brief snippet of what the game's going to be, but it looks like kind of like The Witcher 3 open world, but you have vampire powers. And that sounds right up my alley. I'm big time into that. So that looks really cool. We're going to see gameplay actually in the summer. But new IP looks really sick. So I'm hoping good things from it. So I just want to give those guys a shout out there. There's some potential there.
Brad, did you like Vampire?
I haven't played it. I've heard from two people. It's cool, but not great.
I love that game. sorry to be the polarizing guy.
No, that's totally fine. Like everyone tells me, like it's like a 6 from what I hear. Like cool ideas just doesn't come together.
I can see that. I can see how some people feel that way. I just think the web of characters and how they're all connected. Cog, have you played Vampire? I feel like this is.
No, I missed out. I missed out on Vampire. Yeah, I missed out. I've
really
heard good things too.
Yeah. I mean, first off, you'll love the main character, Jonathan Reed, his voice actor. He was in something recently. It's escaping me now, but really, really talented guy. And then the idea is like, obviously you can be a vampire or not and like resist your urges. And so as you're going around, like all of these, there's literally a web of intrigue, if you will, of all of these NPCs that are connected to one another. And like, if you kill one, another might like kill themselves or like they'll react to it. Like it's crazy, the shit that like how interconnected they are. And you could send these like districts into chaos where like you'll show up there if you like fuck them up enough and they'll be like on fire. There'll be more enemies on the street to fight. Like I love that game. I really do think it's super overlooked. I mean, it sold like 1 million copies, but like they said if it sold 1 million copies, they would make another one, and they never did. I think they went on. Was that the company that went and made Steel Rising?
It's Don't Nod, isn't it?
Don't Nod. No, so it wasn't Steel Rising. Yeah, they went on to make like another fucking Life is Strange game.
Well, Don't Nod's made like 1 million IP. Yeah, like they're always doing something brand new.
They've done a lot of shit, but. Yeah, dude, like that game is, I don't want to oversell it, but I do think if you enjoy like good character dialogue, great voice acting, and like reactivity, you might dig it. Especially if you like vampire shit, Brad. Like,
cool. Yeah, I should give it a shot one day.
Yeah.
Maybe around Halloween time.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good time.
I'll think about that.
Yeah.
All right, this is from T-Dot's Finest. Hey, Brad and the Dukes. I want to submit a keep it up to the Dukes. I haven't owned an Xbox console for all generation. Neither have a lot of people, but I never miss an episode.
We didn't need that, man. We didn't need it too soon, man. We processing, man.
Sorry. I like to push the Xbox buttons when you guys are on here.
That was good as a needle right there.
But I never miss an episode of Defining Duke because of the amazing energy and vibes Matty and Cog bring to the video game industry. From their entertaining analysis of the industry all the way to the minimal or mini viral moments like the throat coat, these two are a shining example of what the video game world needs more of. Many wonder what role these two will play if or when Xbox goes full third party, but Colin has mentioned on an episode of Sacred Symbols that both have a show here regardless of what Xbox does. I hope they do choose to stay when that happens because it'll be dearly missed as a weekly duo in the LSM family. Health is wealth. is a movement. Yeah.
Thank you. We're going down with the ship.
We talked about it. Shout out to Colin. Yeah, we did. I mean, me and Matty talked about it. We didn't have the official talk with Colin because obviously, this is a fluid situation with Xbox's future. But yeah, we love obviously potting together. And that's my brother over there. So it's love. As long as they'll have us, as long as Xbox will continue to exist or metamorphosize, we'll see what happens. But I'll always enjoy potting with this guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This is from Astro King. Hello, brothers. I have a keep it up. Another one. Keep it up to the Dukes.
Damn.
Each week, they bring the energy to Defining Duke that is well needed. From health as well segments to the crazy write-ins, it's one of my favorite podcasts out there. Have a throat coat, should have beat squats type of day.
Yeah, I know what that is.
I saw the vote, bro. Your audience let me down.
I was pushing. I was like, "What happened?
I thought that was a runaway success." I saw.
Yeah. Now I got to do this foolishness for our Tokyo. What you call it? Community get together thing. But salute to Astro Parrot. You know what I'm saying? Salute. That's mad love. Yeah, appreciate it, man. It means a lot that you guys love what we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a good show. As someone who listens every now and then, it's a good, entertaining show.
Thank you. We gotta make it fun somehow. The thing is, there's never anything like good to talk about, so it's like we gotta find our pocket of enjoyment somewhere.
I honestly think, Matty, when like a platform you're covering is in like a weird, dire state or something like that, an unusual state, it makes for really fun content.
Yeah,
like I think of IGN Beyond back in the PS3 era when Sony was just blunder after blunder at the time. It was really funny at the time. Everyone just kind of huddles around the fact that the world is falling down. Everyone's just kind of dealing with it in a fun way. Xbox isn't dead, everybody. I'm just saying, but just things have changed. That's all.
Give it time.
Give it time. Give it time.
Things have changed. We're in a metamorphosis process.
That's right.
That's how I'm dealing with it.
Yeah. All right. This is KZ Icon. Hello, Summon Dukes. I want to give a keep it up to Night Dive Studio. All they have done is remaster games I have either never heard of or games I thought would be playable on modern systems, like The Thing, for real. They literally take what you remember. That game was made. Let me see. They literally take what you remember the game was and make it into it. Like night and day difference. Cannot wait to see what they bring next. Thanks, and have a driving down the street until I hear police sirens and start going crazy looking for them, only to realize I was listening to Defining Duke kind of day.
The Cog sirens.
Cog always gets sirens. Yeah.
Always, man. Live next to a firehouse and one of the busiest streets next to me. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Night Dive, man.
Shout out Night Dive. Good stuff. All right, boys, our final game, something you guys have just been playing a lot of. You guys cannot get enough. We talked about it a little bit on the show earlier, but Marvel Rivals. Maddie, you talked to me about this a little while ago. You were loving it.
Yeah.
You still loving it?
Still loving it. Hour 65 now.
Ooh,
yeah. I think when we last spoke, Brad, we were at like 25 or something like that. So yeah, we're still trucking along here. I finally found my home. You know what I'm saying? Like Cog, I've been on that hunt for that live service home. And this is just a perfect fit. I loved Overwatch. Like Brad put it perfectly. This is how I feel too. Reminds me a lot of how when Overwatch first launched. Like, yeah, there's the fun factors, the zeitgeist, but like underneath it all, it's just like a really well-built game. With characters I love, art style I'm obsessed with. And I just love playing around this roster, dude. Like I was originally like a group main. That's definitely my go-to tank right now, unless they like nerf him or something like that. But I love the kind of capabilities he has offensively and defensively. I still have yet to really find my home on DPS, frankly, but support was like my secondary role. And I gotta say, I'm loving me some Invisible Woman. I am a huge fan. I blessed with the character model, of course, but on top of that, I got double superpowers now. So just her abilities are so good because I love the idea that I can like pull people onto like my vortex or shove them away off the point. She does crazy good damage. She just feels really good to play overall. Like that's the case for all these characters where it's that game that like I blink and all the time is gone. And it's still it reminds me of how I felt with like League or Smite, where your nights just get deleted by these games, but you have fun the whole way through. I have really shifted over to just focusing mostly on comp. So my hours have slowed down a little bit because like basically what happens is like, it's so funny. One of my friends is like the odd man out because he's playing on PS5. So when he wants to play, it's like whoever wants to go play quick play, which is not me.
Yeah.
I don't like quick play anymore. So I don't play more. So when he's on, I'm not playing Marvel Rivals with him until he gets his act together and gets on PC. And I was like, then we'll play comp because right now you can't do cross-platform comp. But I just love comp because of it's nothing like in all seriousness with the elitism. It's just like it's because of the way the matches play out where you kind of have like, oh, they really pushed the payload far, but they only got like halfway. Like, can we beat that? And so the stakes just keep rising every match, and it's so much fun. Their support has really won me over too. Just immediately getting 3 maps, 2 heroes, a new battle pass, new events, new challenges. Just keeps me engaged. Every time I'm hopping on, I'm pushing towards something. Feel like I'm making meaningful progress enough. The battle pass skins are sick. Just especially the Adam Warlock one. Oh my god, bro!
Which one? The one with the hood? The new
yeah.
That's hard,
so sick, dude. The Wolverine one, of course. I mean, come on, bro. It's kind of like Revenant-esque skin. So cool. So I don't know. The game's just got everything going for it. Style, substance. It's fun. Everyone's on, so it's fun to get a big group together and play. Matches are intense. These are characters I've cared about for a while. Like it's gonna take some time to dethrone this one. You know, it's gonna take some time, or some big missteps, which it just does not seem like they're on the path to doing anytime soon. They just seem to really get what this game and its audience needs to succeed, and they're intent on just continuing to push that. And so I'm just excited to see who else they add because Cog mentioned it earlier. It's like it's really that opportunity where, with how these heroes are structured, like they all have some similarities, which is why I think they're going to come out quicker. But what you get is like, oh, new movies coming out, and like here come the heroes from it. It's perfect, right? Like it just works so well as like a marketing thing, but creating hype and kind of, man, like after a lull, just being like, yeah, I do love Marvels. I've been reading some comics. For anyone who's interested, I've been reading the 03 run of Wolverine. Very good. Very good.
Nice.
And that's what a good Marvel game does. Last time I read comics was after Midnight Suns. Cog got me into it, played it. And funny enough, I was actually reading X-Men comics at that point too. So that's kind of been my go-to lately. But yeah, Marvel Rivals really kind of reconnected me with the Marvel brand, which has been fun. So just been having a lot of fun firing up in between like reviews. Been playing it less so now because, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Head over heels with Kingdom Come Deliverance too. But it's just so fun to fire up whenever I get the chance.
Yeah. Cog, talk to me, man. Talk to me. I know you're a big Marvel guy.
Yeah, this is my Overwatch moment. Yeah, man. It's just so fun. It's the perfect get in, get out, as far as, again, getting a match so quickly. You can commit a long time with friends and have a ball. And what I like about it, too, is even in short bursts, you could get a couple in and still feel satiated. Obviously, I did the transition now to ranked, and it's very sweaty. But what I realize is, I'm really a strategist. My role is to get in, heal the people who are the real DPS guys and keep them alive. And I take pride in it. I told Matty, I have found a very good synergy with Mantis and this offense defense kind of thing. I flirted around with Adam Warlock and then for Strange for a tank. But Mantis seems to fit my playstyle. What I've learned with this game is even though you have your favorite heroes as far as characters and stuff like that, I've learned to who am I actually playing better with? And I had to be honest. I was like, yo, look at my matches. Look at the stats after. I'm helping the team. I'm helping them get through that payload, or I'm pushing, the tide and stuff like that. And it's just so fun. It's fun. And then the crossplay stuff is fun and quick play because you'll see the salt in text messages with people not doing what they're supposed to do. Where's my healer, bro? And you see all this
we're always first to be blamed.
Yes, the healers are always first.
MVP symbol next to our name.
Yes,
we're always first to be blamed.
Always first. These character designs, these suits, it's addicting, man. And it's addicting when on the battle pass, there's a suit and they give you a cinematic before they show you the suit. They do all this over the top production value. And again, these are big shades from Naraka Blade Point. This is what I'm used to from Nettie. It's so addicting. The quality, the time, and the effort I think put into all these different variants, and then you got the comic book lore associated with. So it's like, okay, you got Hulk, you got World War Hulk, you got all these things. So you got the hardcore going to appreciate it. And then what I like is each character design is kind of like a new character design, a new spin on the character. So you got that. I did play the we talk about that new mode. What's it, Doom? It's kind of like almost like a
match.
Yeah, Doom match, where it's kind of like what I would consider like a Destiny Rumble mode, where it's like everybody out for themselves, and then it's like the top, higher rank echelon of that group gets to continue on. So it's like a little Iron Man thing, and I like it. It helped me get better on my one-on-one. I'm like Matty, I'm not good at DPS just yet. Namor's probably my best character for that. I throw my trident, or I throw my little squid buddies, and they're like turrets. You know what I'm saying? They're like they're whittling people down while I go and just try to do this other stuff. So it's cool, man. And the roster's big. I guess the only concern would be like, okay, obviously if NetEase is going to stay up with the feedback, which they seem to be doing a great job of, and I guess the cadence of the heroes is very surprising. The fact that we're getting the full Fantastic Four, like we already got the first two, right? With Mr. Fantastic, who's pretty amazing, and I've learned not to be overly aggressive when he starts to get into his when he gets into this mode, you better stop shooting him. I was like, what am I doing? Stop shooting him. That's not a go. Yeah. But an Invisible Woman. But then obviously the second half of the season, they're gonna give us, the Thing and the Human Torch. How are they gonna play? So I'm looking forward to that. And then the leaks are with the characters potentially, Professor Xavier or her Colossus,
Professor Xavier?
Bro, as a strategist, that's gonna be crazy.
Is he in his chair, dude?
In a chair, like mind protecting people. The possibilities are wide. Yeah. To me, they just got the cheat code, bro. They got the cheat code. It's just literally all these heroes. Now, I do worry, as they seem to not care that this roster is large as hell. They seem to not care. So my only concern is balance, and then some of maybe some overlap with certain things. So that's going to be a challenge for them long term. But just think about this. Like, I'm just thinking right now, the new Daredevil just got announced, and I'm a huge fan of Charlie Cox's Daredevil, from the Netflix series. So just think about all they got to do is a couple months to, hey, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Instant. Now, and then to Matty's point, I think the new Captain America movie, if you watch the movie, you get exclusive skins for Marvel Rivals.
That's smart. Yeah.
You get Red Hulk. Like, bro, really this is going to it's a napalm bomb right now. And I don't think NetEase is going to let the foot off for everybody. I told people the Rocket was huge in China. We just late to it. This thing is, they just got some Twitch integration. They got integration with Fortnite right now. Bro, this trade ain't stopping. It would have to be a colossal failure on their part to completely ignore their community, not listen to feedback, or just break the game, right? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, this train's going, man. Yeah. This is my comfort food game right now.
Even if they drop the ball everywhere, Cog, it's going to take years to get to that point. So they're going to be eating good for a while. I'm going to say, though, I need Gambit. Where's my boy Gambit? I need Gambit. I need more X-Men in general. That's what I liked about Marvel. The cartoon, you remember the 90s cartoon?
Oh, yeah.
That's what got me into, Marvel, I guess. X-Men were always my favorite. So I need, need my Nightcrawler.
Need your Nightcrawler.
My Cyclops. I need Jean Grey. I need everybody. Storm's there, which is great.
Yeah, and she got a crazy buff right now. She's top tier right now.
Storm is amazing right now.
X-Men fans, you live in good. Reason why I feel very hopeful for you. What I like what they're doing with Rivals is they're not just going after the big name characters off they'll give you these little, you got your Moon Knight. And I like that. So a lot of people are getting shined
soon.
Yeah. Colossus, I heard, was in the data.
Oh my
leak.
God, dude, Colossus.
No, he's definitely coming. He's definitely, bro, X-Men, you're gonna be eating fine, man. I'm telling you.
Juggernaut
is nice.
Yeah.
I want
Juggernaut. Oh, easy take. Easy take.
Yeah. That's sick. That sounds awesome.
The problem is that each of these universes have so much to pick from. Like, obviously, X-Men, you have options from Miles, but Spider-Man as well, like Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Doc
Ock.
Like, there's so many great choices from that era. So I don't know. I mean, that's the fun part too. Is Rivals is just fun for speculation, dude. Yeah, that's what kind of keeps you excited. You're like, when are they going to add XYZ? Deadpool not being a launch character was always so surprising to me. I thought that would be like an ASAP type of move. Like, we need to get Deadpool in now because they have like Wolverine and of course they would have Wolverine, but they had a Deadpool Wolverine skin as well for the movie. I'm like,
yeah,
you know,
the leak, he's in the mines.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
of
course. Yeah. I will say I've only played like 3 or 4 hours of this game, and I think it's a good game. The only thing is, I'm gonna play tank in the game because everyone needs a tank. I haven't clicked with any of the tanks yet, where I'm like, this is my guy. It wasn't like when I played Overwatch and I played Reinhardt, and I was like, this guy is awesome. I love everything about his kit and how he feels. And I'm hoping I just need to play more of all these characters. Like I've tried Magneto. I'm like, okay, this seems cool. I like the idea of how you play him. And I, of course, played Venom. But with Venom, I was like, man, I want to punch something. I don't want to like poke one with the symbiote or whatever. I'm like, let me fucking shred someone with Venom. But I don't know. Maybe I just need to spend more time with it. So
like
the
Captain
idea of Juggernaut
America would be your pick.
I need to play him more. The idea of Colossus, like that sounds amazing to me as a tank. And Juggernaut, like that's what I'm talking about. That's the shit I kind of need.
Yeah.
But can't deny it, man. The game is doing super well.
The game has a DPS issue in that like all of the champs are like located in that pocket. Like,
they have a lot of DPS. And I get DPS is always the most popular, but too many.
Well, the problem is that it's so popular is like, I think they should feed these other roles because what happens is you'll queue up and you'll get like 4 DPS. And I'm like, I always text in chat. I'm like, nope, one of you switch. I'm doing my part. I'm the tank or I'm the strategist. I'm doing my part. I never have a problem finding my role, but one of you get off. Like, there's no way we're doing fucking 4 DPS. Like, that's
what
ridiculous.
I'm hoping for is, I know a community ask, it's kind of like a role queue.
Yeah, Overwatch has that.
Like they kind of need that because I agree. It gets to a point where dudes just all want to be DPS, and it's like, bro, come on, like So I don't have the ego, so I'm like, all right, fine, like I have no problem being strategist or tank here and there. But yeah, I would love a competitive role queue for the future. I think that would kind of, for the balance matches. I think they should flirt with that. That's just me.
I don't know. I think part of the fun is the team up comps and sort of like random strategies you can make with different mix up. And I feel like you lose all of that if you
I get you. I don't want to.
I also think role queue isn't that what killed Overwatch's queue times? Like was like the ability to launch up a match. Like I think that's such a big part of Marvel Rivals success is like you can just fire up and wait 2 seconds and be in a match.
That's a fact.
So I feel like you lose that with role queue if like a bunch of people are like logging on just to play like DPS, but you don't have like many tanks that day. Like,
let me ask you because I'll defer to you guys on this because you guys are the Overwatch guys. So when role queue, I'm assuming was not at launch for Overwatch in the beginning. No. So was it a thing that when it launched, it messed up queue times and it made the value of the game, or was it well received and people were like, yes, we've been running this? How did the community take it?
So from my point of view, Cog, I was happy in the sense that I think it makes the games more fun and more balanced by having like 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers, something like that. I like that more instead of having like 3 tanks and 2 healers or something like that. I think that's just less fun. But Matty's right in the sense that it's always tanks. Nobody likes to play tank and everything. However, what Overwatch does have now is it has role queue and it has open queue. Where it's you just go in and you can play whatever. Okay. So there are 2 separate ranks.
2 separate ranks.
Like you get a rank based on a role queue. If you play as like a healer, you get a rank separate for that. Or in a DPS, a separate rank. Open queue is just 1 rank, so you can just do whatever you want. So that option is there for you.
Just as an option. But if it messes up, but Matty has a strong counter because if it messes up queue times, which is Marvel Rivals' strength right now, like and the population is all in this one, box. It's interesting how they will handle it. I'm curious. But Matty, you standing on business? You want to keep it where it's at?
I feel like you don't mess with that. Like, there's no game I've ever played, like even Call of Duty, which is known for its matchmaking, does not get me into a game that quick. Like, Marvel Rivals has beat everyone out in that regard. And they got some special fucking sauce back there that, like, they should not contaminate, in my opinion. And if I'm them, right now, your audience wants the opposite of Overwatch in a lot of ways. Like, don't go do the things that started to hurt that game. Like, they're going to hear role queue? No, don't do that.
Alone.
What hurt a lot of Overwatch is they just didn't update it because they were working on 2. So 1 suffered dramatically for like a year and a half or something like that. It was just really bad. But it sounds like this game is going to have no problems. It sounds like they have content ready up the ass. Just a million heroes in a shootout.
I agree. Do you guys think that they're going to do like a PvE mode or like a campaign?
A PvE mode? That's good. I could see them doing it for an event, Matty.
Yeah.
Like Overwatch used to do like Halloween, like PvE event and stuff like that. I could see them happening. I don't know about like a full-on campaign yet. I don't know if there's money for that yet.
Like a couple
years.
I know my netties. I'm trying to tell you. This is what happened with The Rock, and they go and do it.
Eventually,
they're going to have events, and then they will. And my guess, because the Rocket was about almost like a year, and people were like, we want a PvE mode, and it was a PvE light mode, but it was a mode. I do think we will get something. Maybe they'll flirt with event first before a dedicated mode, but I'm pretty confident they're going to do something. This team is super talented, and they always come up with good ideas and content to keep playing. So yeah, I definitely think they're going to do it.
Naraka had like cinematics to open up like their kind of story-ish mode as well.
Production value's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not ready what's about to happen. This team on this IP is perfect marriage. It's gonna last for a while, and they're gonna do a lot of content. And look out for more collaboration. They got. I think the Rocket had The Witcher. I was just like, yo, what is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah, collabs are weird. Yeah, Overwatch had like Avatar: The Last Airbender pretty recently. It's like, man, games are crazy. Just these collabs you're getting nowadays. It's insane.
It's nuts.
Let's see here. This is from Patrick Blinn. Greetings, Summoners. Marvel Rivals has completely replaced Overwatch 2 as my home base multiplayer game. They put that in quotations. Is that something you say often, Maddie? I did hear you say it earlier.
I apologize. This is the second viewer / writer that I've like stolen their thunder about like the 3D Donkey Kong game earlier, and then
that's fine.
I didn't see the script beforehand, but I don't know if they're quoting me or not. I definitely have ripped like home base a lot. Like I'm trying to find, I always say I'm like on the search for my home, because like I've always been looking for like Cog inspired me. I'm like, he's always got something to kind of return to when the seasons get low. And so yeah, maybe he's quoting me. I don't know. I don't want to be too presumptuous to Patrick. Might not even know who the hell I am.
With the recent news that a new hero will be released every month and a half, that's insane, by the way, it got me thinking of my dream picks. Look, I'll cut to the chase. I need Ant-Man in this game since Marvel Avengers didn't last long enough for me to fulfill my dreams. This game has too many damn duelists already, so I'd love to see them work his powers as a vanguard or strategist. Now that we've all grown accustomed to the playstyle of this game, which heroes would you guys like to see join the roster from a gameplay / power set perspective? Thanks, and I hope you guys don't have the moon haunts you kind of day.
Oh, God, when you hear that, you're in trouble. Wait a minute, Matty, what is this anti-Ant-Man thing? What's going on?
All right, well, let me gather something real quick here.
Oh, my God, he's got notes to get out or something.
Notes.
All right.
What's going on?
I just want to put out a list here to get Patrick thinking a little bit, right? Ultron, Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, Blade, Invisible Woman, The Thing, Captain Marvel, I don't know this one, Hitmonkey, Angela, Emma Frost, Jean Grey, The Hood, Deadpool, Professor X, Jia Jing, Paste Pot Pete, man, Colossus, Locust, Scott Summers. And dude, you pick Ant-Man. You pick Ant-Man. Like, there's so many great things coming up in Ant-Man. I don't know. Am I the only one who's like not big on Ant-Man? He's this big motherfucker who's just like
that could be cool for like playing though in the game.
Like, growing huge, like,
tiny. That could be interesting.
Bro, I'm not an Ant-Man guy either, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
dude,
Maddie,
like, I'm thinking Jeff the Land Shark 2.0. Like, this motherfucker goes underwater or he turns to the size of a fingernails, like, run around like this on the map. Come hit me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want that for my Vanguard. He needs to be up and big and in their face.
Dude, that's the kind of goofy shit I want, though.
I want that.
You can use this small form to run away, I guess, get out of combat if you need to get out of a sticky situation. Get huge when you're going in.
C tier on launch instantly. C tier immediately. If he's a Vanguard who has to get out of the fight, C tier instantly.
Oh, man, that's funny. Hey, you got to be able to run away sometimes. You got to be able to get out of there. Like Venom, dude. He just swoops, get right out of there. Get jumped. Yeah, you need that mobility, dude.
I think they got to play. I mean, Hulk kind of has a template in the sense of, you know, when he's in banner mode in Rivals, right? And then, you know, you get in, you Hulk out kind of thing. I'm just thinking they could play on that with a unique thing. But I know, you're thinking about him in like, you know, the minute form and being like a pest. I already know where you at. You're like, this is going to be an annoying character to deal with.
Because there's also the people who like, have you guys ever seen the meme going around of the guy who is like, yo, transformed to the Hulk? And he says, no, I'm a Bruce Banner main. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
I have not seen that.
I worry about guys like Patrick who are going to be like, nah, I'm Mini-Man main. Like, he's only running around in his smallest form. Just like throwing games.
Awesome. Health pool like 50.
Yeah. That's funny.
I tease, Patrick. I tease.
But yeah, I guess we talked about some characters we'd like to see.
Yeah.
Definitely want Gambit. Dr. Doom could be really cool.
Oh man, I'm probably waiting for Doomsday for that. Yeah.
That's late. That's like 2 years there when the what is it? The Secret Wars movies out.
Yeah,
we'll get that. You know what I'm saying? I need my Surfer, man.
Silver Surfer. Yeah.
This is the game that'll happen for you, Cog. I mean, if they're throwing Paste Pot Pete in, I think you got a good chance.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just jealous, right? Because everybody's getting what they want. And I'm like, man, where's my... Now, Fantastic Four gives me hope.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four gives me home. I'm like, my man is Fantastic Four adjacent. And they literally have all the Defenders in it, which was this little mock team that Strange put together with Surfer, Hulk, and Namor. So everyone's there except my man. I'm like, damn, I want to
feel bad for you. Like, for me, it's a little easy. Like, Spider-Man's my favorite. Like, of course he's going to be there.
As a Surfer man, it just sucks because my character is such an obscure cosmic character. And then he's type OP. Right. So he's always been hard to put in video games. The only game I ever got full enjoyment, which to this day I don't regret, was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And I don't regret putting in the code and have him day one. And it broke that I could never get the Surf's Up achievement because once you put that code in, I guess the way the game is coded, you cannot get the achievement.
Wow.
If you put in that, cheat code to release him early at the beginning of the game.
That sucks.
That haunts me on my achievement list, by the way. but yeah, man, like, oh man, you give me Tank, because I'm see Thor running around. I'm like, man, I want to Surfer so bad. Yeah, I would say him, and then for your X-Men, looks like you get what you want, Brad. You're gonna look like again Scott Summers. You're gonna get your Cyclops, you get your Jean, Colossus come there. It would be dope to get Gambit though. That would be dope. Yeah,
Gambit would be awesome. I think everyone loves Gambit. Like, how could you?
Absolutely, so cool.
But you could save him for a rainy day when you need a big splash.
Yeah, in the pocket. Exactly. I know who I want. I do want some Daredevil though. Yeah,
Daredevil would be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Oh, what's gonna happen? Everyone's gonna be in eventually.
Oh yeah, eventually.
There's gonna be 500 characters in there.
700 characters.
Yeah.
God bless the balance team.
That's right. This is from Drake. Hey Horst. Hey Summoners. What is happening to me? I'm a single-player gamer, yet I've been logging into Marvel Rivals every day since launch. I'm a big Marvel fan, but besides that, it is just a blast to play. I spent a lot of Season 0 getting the Platinum Trophy, but I did manage to get to Plat 2 in competitive play. Are you guys playing competitive? And if so, how is the climb going? Sincerely, Mantis Main, who's working on the Invisible Woman. So, Matty, you playing comp?
Yeah.
As you said earlier.
My rank's not impressive at all, man. I'm going to be real because... we all joke we got this one friend in our group who's just not good at the game. But he always is down to play, and so it's like
what class he play?
Yeah, like he's
trying to be DPS.
No, just game aware, game sense is just not there. It's just so,
but he's not a strategist. He's not a not
I'm just like it's you're not cooking if like you're not a great strategist, and so. Like, it's one of those things where as long as we're playing comp, I'm having a good time. That's all I need. It's not really about the rank anymore. You know? Like, I just want to play with my friends in like a more highly competitive system. That's all I'm asking for. But a couple of other friends are just like, when he signs off, we're like, all right, let's get our rank up now. Start cooking.
Let's do this for real now, bro.
No, we try, but it's like, we just know it's a roll of the dice. Like, there's some nights like he'll cook, and there's some nights where it's just like, nah, bro. you gotta get off. You gotta get off. I'm sick of my rank, bro.
Oh man, gotta wait for the homie to sign off before y'all can really get it in.
No, we're honest with it. We're like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we gotta strategize around your playtime.
Damn, we all had that friend. Damn.
Yeah.
But that's why we love comp. Am I right?
Yes.
Comp's
fun. I love comp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you playing comp, Cog, or are you just playing quick play? Yeah.
No, I play comp. I mean, I'm not. I'm very humbled. Again, that's what I realized. I was like, yo, I think King told me, like, bro, you know what he do? Be like, yo, you don't want to try like healer? I'm like, oh damn, King did me dirty. He was like, yo, yeah, maybe you should try that. All right. And then what made it worse, as soon as we did it, we started going on a streak. I was like, damn, he was right. I was the weak link, messing it up. But that, in my defense, that was during my Black Panther days. And I am not good with him, and I'm sorry. He needs a
I don't know. Don't be down on yourself. He's tough.
He's a tough character. The high skill curve, and you got to hide. You got to get in. You got to get out. You got these weird lungy attacks.
You got to land them.
Yeah, he's weird. Like I am. If they buff Black Panther, I will go back to try to at least bait it, because I do like the idea that no one's really using him. I mean, he's actually, people use him. I can say it's nice, but he's not a high usage rate character. So I take pride in that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna be the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the work in. I'm gonna mark them with the what is it? The vibranium thing. I'm gonna do the man. That guy, I was like, I'm just dying way too much, and people were just running down on me. I was like, I can't with this. So yeah, that's what I made the thing. But as soon as I did that, like I said, I did my healer. And Tank, I have some fun with Tank, some fun with Hulk and stuff like that. And then I'm giving Strange a chance again. And Comp, he's really helpful. Putting that force barrier up.
In the portal.
Putting that portal to get everybody to the objective instantly. I'm truly helping the team. So Comp is where my appreciation for Strange really landed. Yeah, for sure. And I like his what is it? The Eye of Agamotto, and he frees people for a second. Everybody comes in there and just wreck them up. Yeah, that's a very powerful. You could slow a whole team down. So yeah, Strange is getting some love in Comp as well.
Yeah, nice. It's good. It's good that because the thing is, King David's being a good friend, right? Like he's just trying to look out for the team, look out for you at the same time. Because we had a similar situation where like my friend, the one who was struggling, was playing Tank. And his final stat line after like a 2-game set was 3K damage and 10% accuracy with very little damage block. We're like I was like, dude, I don't know how you even did that. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, I don't know how you pulled that off. Like, we need to move you around the board a little bit here. Just like, come on, bro. I was like, no, dude.
Matty, there was nothing more embarrassing than that awkward silence of getting trashed, and then everyone look at that stat screen.
You just know
you the lowest performer. You do not.
Yeah.
You want to just.
But that's me on DPS. That's why I know, because I was like we were playing one night and we were on like a huge win streak. I was like, yo, boys, I'm kind of in the mood for some DPS, right? All of a sudden, like, lose like 3 in a row. I'm like, all right, like I'm just gonna I'm clearing out high impact player here. Like I'm gonna move myself out of this situation.
Facts. That's what I'm telling you. I had those heart to hearts, Brad.
Yeah. You got real good.
They're tough. They're tough sometimes.
Oh yeah.
All right, boys. Let's end the show with some comments from the audience. If you want to send comments to this show or any of our shows, keep an eye out on our Patreon. I post a thread every Saturday calling for your submissions on there. And we do this for all of our shows, so keep an eye out there. And you can just write in right there, and we'll read them on the show. All right, this is from Bloated Backlog. Hey, Summoners, what is a game that you love, but have only played once, and also don't want to play again? I will go first, because I got one right out the bat.
Let's go. What you got?
Journey. I loved Journey. I went through it one time, and I was like, that's enough. I never need to revisit this game. It was perfect for what I needed right there. It was a wonderful experience, but it's not something, second playthrough for me will be severely diminished. I think a lot of the joy was just going through the first time with some random strangers through the journey. So yeah. I think that's one. I never need to play that game again, but I loved it at the time.
Like that. It's good choice. I got one. I always wax about my man, Jake Solomon, as far as like the turn-based king. But I have to admit, his War of the Chosen, XCOM War of the Chosen, the difficulty spikes were so crazy that there were parts that I'm like, man, this is breaking me, you know. And the Chosen that come into the map, there's extra variable in the campaign, and you have that going on, and then you have almost like this deadline ticker in the overworld game mode, the base layer mode. That game is extremely challenging. I remember speaking to, which was the XCOM guy, Matt Piscatella, I think I was speaking to him, because he saw I was playing it. He was like, I just had to quit that game. That game's just way too hard. I'm sorry. I was like, I see you playing the Cog. He's like, nope, not doing that. It was one of those games, when I beat it, I'm like, yeah, I love you. You're the greatest, but I am not going through that again. So yeah, I would have to say my beloved XCOM 2, War of the Chosen is
nice.
Mine. And I love that game.
Yeah.
Maddie, I would say Trails for me. I love Trails as a series.
Good one.
They're extremely thought out in a way that I don't think many games are, but they're also very meticulous, and they kind of rely on like everything that's new in front of you, where like revisiting them, you'll appreciate like the structure and the things that happen in game 1 that are relevant in like game 7. Like it is very impressive, where I think it would be rewarding on a return run, but like I don't ever have a desire to go back to like these massive JRPGs and replay them in full. Like that's a very special selection for me. Like Persona 4 Golden is like one of the few that I'm like,
that's a great pick too. Yeah.
You know, like those are ones I have gone back to. But I think these games, these JRPGs, as they get bigger, it's like, oh, you're a one-hit wonder for sure. But Trails, I think, is fantastic from top to bottom. But outside of the remake, I would not go back and like replay many of these games, at least not right now with how much I've played. Maybe in like a decade or two. Then
yeah. Those are all fair points. Yeah, long games. Yeah. It's harder to replay some of those games and get through them all the way.
If they're like RPGs where you get choices and different outcomes, then but Trails doesn't do that. So,
but I know, with what I'm assuming Trails is, yes, I could totally see where
it's
you're
like rereading
from.
a book. A lot of people do it, and I respect it, but I would never personally reread a book.
All right, this is from Joe Nito. Hello, Summoners. Next generation might be the first time there are only 2 consoles competing and innovating to create the best gaming platform. How much do you think this will affect the industry? There have always been at least 3 consoles in every generation since the very first one. I think there'll be an Xbox. I definitely think there's going to be an Xbox still. So I think we'll have 3 still. It'll just be in a different form, I guess, for Microsoft. And the rumor is like what other manufacturers will be making them as well or something like that. So the brand will still exist, I suppose. You'll still be able to buy an Xbox, I guess. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. Look, I know right now it's crazy. It's a crazy time, and the fact of, dogs and cats sleeping together, they're putting their games everywhere kind of energy. But it does make sense for them to keep the end point of having a console as an entry point. But I don't think they're going to be, I think my prediction is probably they won't be mass produced on the level. It definitely will not be the priority, but they do realize they need to have it. So now after that, I can't promise. I think they got at least one more, in them. That's my prediction. But I mean, it will be weird, in what, to Janito's point, in a scenario, let's just say that they do completely pull the plug after another generation and they're just we're just the biggest publisher in the world. We're not going to make a console anywhere. That would be a wild time just to see that. So, but for now, I still say, they will continue for one more generation.
What do you think, Matty?
I'm a little wishy-washy on it right now. I definitely was on the like one more generation plan, but when you see the console sales and kind of where they're going with multi-plat, I'm like, I don't know if they're going to eventually see a need for it, but more so like supplemental hardware, like not a traditional full console, but like, hey, here's a new way to play your current Xbox stuff, and new Xbox stuff coming out, but not like, here's our new loaded up technology that we're going to give you to fuel the next generation of gaming. I would love that from them, to be clear. And I think like when I say wishy-washy, I mean like I went from like 90-10 to like 70-30, where I'm like, there is this realm of possibility that's growing in me. I'm like, they might just be like, because like how many times have we seen the plans dramatically change like year of, or we think we know something is not. So that's why I'm like 70-30 on it, where I'm like, yeah, there's probably a good chance that they come out with one. And I'm with Cog that I think it is just like one more. I would, again, love to see them hang around that hardware space, but maybe by next generation, we are in a completely different gaming industry where that stuff matters less, to my own personal heartbreak. But how will it affect the industry, man? I always worry about competition, right? Like I know a lot of people are anti-Xbox for how they bought up companies, and I think that's fair and whatnot. But I also think that having a brand that wants to challenge and do things differently, at least original Xbox 360, especially, I think is where they captured that idea the most, is important. And I think what we're seeing this generation is what happens when companies get comfortable, right? You see really weird decisions made. PlayStation, we just talked about. I think Nintendo has their moments where they're like comfortable with their kind of, you want to talk about burger, fries, and shakes. We joke about that with Xbox, but I really think Nintendo is the owner of those menu items, right? Like you're always going to get a Mario, Zelda, it's like always checking these boxes. So, I think when they get a little complacent, it's because there's no real threat. Like they just need to operate for what meets their own means, and that's it. There's not like Xbox is rising up. Like we need to watch them. We need to not let them get ahead of us. So we need to do this to keep eyes on us. Like I think that shrinks a little bit more. But my hope is that if Xbox pulls out, Valve steps in. That's like my cope mindset is like, there will be a 3. It just may not be Xbox eventually. It might be someone else who wants to kind of elevate what they do in this space and whatnot and serve as that next challenger, which I think would be fun because I would want it to be someone who's been in gaming for a while. Unlike Apple, who is rumored to have their own gaming device. Even the Apple Arcade kind of has some good games. Like,
yeah,
I feel like it should be someone who knows the gaming space top to bottom. So I think when you lose that, even if Microsoft sucks in a lot of ways, you lose just so much in the terms of like what can occur in this space. I mean, I look at my game collection and I look at like the lineage of Xbox exclusives that or published titles that just wouldn't exist without them. And I mean, same thing with PlayStation and Nintendo. So I think you just lose so much more without them. And I think that competition is important because really PlayStation and Xbox view each other as direct rivals, and Nintendo's the one on the side. So if you remove Xbox from that situation, now like PlayStation's one, and they're not going to target Nintendo, I don't think. So it's just going to be everyone out for themselves, and I don't think that's good for anybody.
Yeah, competition's good. We shall see, though. Crazy times right now.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Ryan Gerson. Hey, howdy, hello to California's zestiest avant-garde heartthrob, El Senor Matty Wega, and the most sensual piece of good vibes this side of Saturn. I just recently discovered this glorious rough gem of a game called Withering Rooms. It's a mix of roguelike, Metroidvania, Souls-like, and survival horror into an uneven but wonderful connection. What games do you guys feel like you've played / discovered that have gone largely unacknowledged but really left a mark on you? Those true diamond in the rough hidden gems. I'd love to hear them. Thanks for all you guys do. All right. Any true, maybe like rough but hidden gems, I guess, that you can think of?
I think last year Splintered Fate was the one that came to mind for me. Like, I
sure,
don't,
yeah.
I don't think that TMNT game got as much attention as it deserved. It was really good, attached to a very popular IP, identical to Hades, which I know softens a little bit, but like I think emulating Hades is very tough to do in like flow and design. I thought it was super impressive, but it feels like just not a lot of people talked about it. I felt like it should have gained more steam. Trails, of course, is another one. Like Trails still feels like, even though it's gaining a lot of popularity, it still feels like this very well-kept secret. And so I would love to see that get some real attention. I mean, that's a Japanese indie studio too. So that one also is top of mind for me.
That's a good one. That was good. I'm gonna go old school. One of the games, my favorite games of all time, it's a game called Another World, and it was made by one man, Eric Chahi, Frenchman. I got a chance to meet him. I never thought I'd meet him in my life. I got a chance to meet him. He actually showed up at a PAX one year. I couldn't believe it. The game was made by one man, and to me, it set off a genre of what I consider like these immersive single player action platform. They're not platformers because they're just like the game. You're in these world where you just don't know what's going on. The game does not hold your hand, and this thing is a masterpiece, man. I think it's the inspiration for games like Inside. I think it's the inspiration for many games like Planet of Lana, Somerville, that kind of stuff. And that game changed my life. I remember having that game on Super Nintendo, I believe, first. And I think the developer was Interplay at the time. But I mean the publisher or whatever, Interplay. But yeah, that game is amazing. So yeah, I highly recommend anyone play Another World. That game is definitely want to change my life. And it inspired me to get these, what I call, the little artsy fartsy COD games. You know what I'm saying? Like that pushes me into Kunitsugami and all, like just these little weird pocket games that don't get enough love. But that game changed my life for sure.
I can see what you mean on what it inspired. I'm watching it now and just like very different for its time.
Yes, bro.
Very different for its time.
It still holds up now. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge. Like they didn't hold your hand. You're like, how do I figure this out? What am I supposed to do? And you're this guy, you get transported into this alien world. And you meet like a I can't go too much, but you encounter other things, and it blew me away. I was like, this is amazing. How did he think of this? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, man. Another World. I bet they always remaster. It's on PlayStation. It's on the Xbox store. Right, you always find it. They have a 20th anniversary. Now the sequel is terrible. It wasn't as good as that first one, and it was made by someone else. It was not made by him, from my understanding. But that first one, Max Aruba, for my people who know that phrase, I know what that means. That's my
Is this game really like half an hour long? Like all these long plays I'm seeing are like 30 minutes.
Yeah, because it was so challenging. No one knew what to do on each encounter. And this is back before the days of YouTube and all that stuff. We were stuck. We were like, what are you supposed to do? So now that everyone's figured it out, it's like, boop, 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 you know what I'm saying, kind of thing.
Got it.
But yeah, highly recommend, bro. Oh, such a good game.
Yeah, those are good picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just think of like something I liked a lot that wasn't super popular, I guess. I don't know. They're well known, I guess, to an extent, but they were never as popular as I was hoping they would be, which is all 3 of Tokyo RPG Factory's games. Matty, you probably know, like I Am Setsuna, Osphere,
never played
Oninaki.
They look really
I Am
good.
Setsuna was probably their biggest one, but I liked the other 2 a lot, and people just didn't really care about them at all. But they were cool games I liked. They weren't like amazing or anything, but I liked those games, and I was rooting for that team. I'm sad they're gone, but shut those guys out.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Nebbits. Hello, gentlemen. This weekend I attended the Sonic the Hedgehog Speed Cafe pop-up restaurant. Have you all ever been to a pop-up shop for video games like this before? Is Cog too afraid to be creepy Cog on the prowl at the playground? This was the first time I've been to one. It was fun and the food was great. I even saw my first content creator in real life, but I didn't bother him. The only bad thing was waiting in line for 6 hours in cold rain. Keep up the awesome content. Whew.
Shout out to Davids. Oh my God. Look, man, I got to call fraud on myself because as much as I clown myself, like I'm never going to one of these silly little events. I'm too old to be doing blah, blah, blah. Well, we actually the Lords are planning our Road to Tokyo, trip. And once people called me out because once they told me about the Super Mario World thing that's out there, I was like, oh man, I want to go. So Creepy Cog did come out for that one. I guess if it's a IP or a franchise and they've got like a whole vibe about something you love, like, yeah, I think it's I would attend it. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm not above that. So I think I will say the games per se, not as much, but anything themed around it. Like I'm like, all right, I will at least check it out to see what it's about.
Yeah, you're going, you go to Disneyland or whatever, you're going to the Avengers campus. You're going to check it out.
There you go. Good call.
Maddie, what about you?
I've never been, but I know if I had the opportunity to, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool as hell, but I would love to see something like that near me. You know, I'd be all over that. But I guess then again, what did we miss out on, Cog? What was IHOP doing? The Xbox glasses or something like that? Yeah,
they had all the Xbox. I the glasses with the those
I can't talk my game too much, but if it's like a dedicated restaurant overhaul for like a special game, like if they did something for Fallout, like be all over that.
Bro, the funniest thing I've ever done, and it wasn't really game related, there was a restaurant, it was in New York City called Ninja Restaurant. And you literally had to go in, it's like under a dojo, they had suits, they like, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. You should go, I don't think it exists anymore, but it was one of the highest attractions to come to New York City. You have to go to Ninja Restaurant. They take this thing ultimately seriously. Google Ninja Restaurant, New York City, you will laugh. I was like, this is amazing. What's going on? Yeah, man. So much fun. So if they did like something like that for like a game I love, forget it. It'd be over.
For pop-up shops, I'm in Southern California, so they do these quite frequently here every now and then. But Atlas is pretty close to me, so they've done a couple like Persona things near me.
Oh. I
went to one thing where it was like Persona 3 and 4 kind of stuff and 5. They had like themed stuff around it. It wasn't very good, but it was cool. To see, like they had like a pie Matty that was like them like the Midnight Room and stuff like that, or the Velvet Room. Sorry, the Velvet Room, stuff like that. They had like a June-esque drink and stuff like that. It was just interesting to see.
Hell yeah!
But like, the theme. Like I've been to the Mario World in LA. They have one as well, so it's pretty cool. I'm curious, Cog, to see what you think about when you get there.
Yeah.
When you go to Tokyo, what it's like. Because they got Donkey Kong as well. Yeah.
It's that like Harry Potter world experience, right? Where they got like the butterbeer and stuff, and it's feels authentic to the universe. It's great. Yeah,
it's cool.
No doubt.
All right, last thing here from Osama bin Kirby. Hello, summon comers. After many years of hating Sonic, I bought Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, and I like it. Should I unalive myself? Or do I go on living as a Sonic enjoyer? Thanks, and have a Marvel Rivals is going to get banned to its connection to China kind of day.
Matty, what you think about your boy? What's up?
I mean, look, dude, I think it's good that you're having fun with the video game. If you enjoy that, it's nothing wrong with keeping your eyes open for everything Sonic related moving forward. I mean, that's what I tell people. I feel like Sonic fandom is built upon extremes, right?
It sure is.
You know, there's a lot of fans out there who I saw rewatched Sonic 3 movie 5 times, and I was like, it's not that good, y'all. I love Sonic, but it's not that good. It's not worthy of that. But Sonic and Shadow Generations is I think one of the best Sonic games, and I would be surprised if most people didn't pick it up and say this is fun to play.
Yeah, Gene was hyping it up as well.
Yeah, so I think you go on as a little bit of a Sonic enjoyer, because here's what I did. I'll tell you my story real quick. I did not like any other modern Sonic game except Generations for a while, and you could stand on that square and just be like, they got to earn me. So you could play tough, you could play hard to get. It's up to you, man. Just don't be ashamed. That's all.
Yes.
Stand on it.
Yeah. Matty, my brother and his kids visited this Christmas, and they like Sonic a lot. So,
oh boy, had
to get a bunch of Sonic games ready for them.
Mm.
I got Sonic Shadow Generations. I got it.
Yeah.
I got Origins.
Yeah.
I got Superstars. I've got most things, I guess, now in Sonic. So I will play. I liked Generations back in the day. But I want to play the Shadow content because you were hyping it up, and Gene. So
it's really
I will get to it someday. Don't let the Sonic fan base ruin it for you guys. The Sonic fan base, calm down, stand down. Sonic fan base, in fact, actually. All right, you guys are a little too crazy.
Why y'all talking about my Sonic goons?
Yeah, the Sonic goons are a little crazy, a little too crazy, guys. Yeah. But there's some good stuff there. There's some fun to be had. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of cringe Sonic content as well. Yes. A lot of those games are not good.
Yes.
They're bad. Very bad.
Yes.
So just got to acknowledge the good and the bad, though.
Try The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a 3-hour visual novel. It's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It's actually very funny. Free to play, by the way.
All right, everybody. Boys, that's it. We're done. Another episode in the bag. Thank you guys for joining me. This episode.
Fun.
I appreciate it. Good stuff.
Yeah, no. Awesome time, dude.
Before we go, let the people know Defining Duke when it goes up for them to listen, all that stuff, and Cog, of course, and Matty, of course. Plug anything you want if you want to do Iron Lords and your YouTube channels, Matty.
Yeah. You can find Defining Duke here on the Last Stand Media YouTube channel. You can find us on audio feeds wherever you want. We go live every Sunday at 12. Otherwise, you can find us on Patreon on Thursdays. You can write into our show every week. It's always fun to talk about everything from Throat Coat to the end of a console generation. So join the chaos there. Otherwise, if you want YouTube content that's more on the modern side of gaming, Mr. Matty Plays, retrospective stuff, Retro Rebound, whichever floats your boat. Happy to have you.
Yeah, man. Same deal here. You want to catch the Dukes, you know where to get them more free feeds on YouTube. But again, make sure you get on that Patreon to get that early, get that Thursday early. You know what I'm saying? And also check us out on Discord. You know what I mean? If you're just going to do the audio thing, salute to the Realm of the Dukes. And of course, every Sunday is the Lord's Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Catch me and the rest of the Lords doing our thing. Got some cool content coming up and interviews galore and stuff. So we're really excited. And again, thanks to everyone who's come out to support our Road to Tokyo movement around the Tokyo Game Show. This will be the first time. So I will be hitting up a lot of people, including you, Dustin, for advice and tips as far as what to do when I'm out there and stuff like this. Our very first time, and we're trying to get this thing done, and the community's been really showing out for us to get us there. So
awesome.
That is the plan.
Cool. Excellent. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for watching and listening. We appreciate it, and we will see you next episode. Take care. Bye.
Later.
Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.